Anna, hey, Tom. How's it going? What did you eat today? Tom, hey, Anna. I'm good, thanks. I had a pretty varied day when it comes to food. For breakfast, I started with scrambled eggs mixed with spinach and a slice of whole grain toast. I also had a glass of orange juice to go with it. Anna, that sounds like a healthy start. I just had a smoothie with bananas, strawberries, and a bit of spinach. What did you have mid-morning? Tom, around 10 a.m., I had a small snack, a handful of almonds and a cup of green tea. It kept me energized until lunch. Anna, nice. I usually grab a granola bar around that time. So, what did you have for lunch? Tom, for lunch, I had a turkey and avocado sandwich on rye bread. I added some lettuce and tomato, and had a side of baby carrots and hummus. Oh, and a sparkling water to drink. Anna, that sounds yummy and nutritious. For lunch, I had a quinoa salad with chickpeas, cucumbers, and feta cheese. Did you have an afternoon snack? Tom, yes, in the afternoon, around 3 p.m., I had a Greek yogurt with honey and a sprinkle of granola. It was the perfect snack to keep me going until dinner. Anna, I love Greek yogurt. I usually have some fruit in the afternoon. Today, I had an apple and a handful of walnuts. What did you have for dinner? Tom, dinner was a bit more elaborate. I made grilled salmon with a quinoa and vegetable stir-fry. The stir-fry had bell peppers, zucchini, and broccoli. I also had a side of steamed asparagus. Anna, wow, that sounds delicious. I had spaghetti bolognese with a mixed green salad on the side. Did you have any dessert? Tom, yes, I treated myself to a small bowl of vanilla ice cream with fresh strawberries on top. It was a nice way to end the day. Anna, that sounds wonderful. I had a couple of dark chocolate squares. I try to keep my dessert light. What about drinks? Did you have anything special? Tom, besides the orange juice in the morning and the green tea, I mostly drank water throughout the day. I did have a cup of chamomile tea after dinner to wind down. Anna, I had a couple of cups of coffee during the day and a peppermint tea after dinner. Do you plan your meals ahead of time? Tom, I try to plan most of my meals to stay on track with healthy eating, but I also leave room for spontaneity. How about you? Anna, I usually plan my meals for the week but allow some flexibility for cravings or changes in plans. It helps me stay organized and eat well. Tom, that's a good approach. I find planning helps me avoid unhealthy choices when I'm busy. Anyway, thanks for sharing your meals, Anna. It's always interesting to hear what others eat. Anna, absolutely, Tom. I enjoyed hearing about your meals too. Maybe we can exchange recipes sometime. Tom, that sounds like a great idea. Let's do that soon. I hope this extended version meets your needs. Keep practicing, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. It's all part of the learning process. In a bustling city, there lived a psychologist named Dr. Emma Hayes. She had a keen interest in understanding human behavior, especially the intricacies of social interactions and mental health. One day, she encountered a particularly challenging case that intrigued her. A young man named Alex came to her office, seeking help for his intense social anxiety. Alex explained that he had always felt an overwhelming fear of being judged or rejected by others, which prevented him from forming meaningful relationships or even speaking up in meetings at work. Dr. Hayes decided to employ a technique known as cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, to help Alex. She explained that CBT focuses on identifying and challenging negative thought patterns and beliefs that contribute to anxiety and other issues. During their sessions, Dr. Hayes encouraged Alex to keep a journal of his thoughts and feelings, especially in situations that triggered his anxiety. They worked together to identify specific negative thoughts, like, "everyone is judging me," or "I'll embarrass myself," and then challenged these thoughts with evidence and rational counterarguments. For example, when Alex wrote that he felt everyone at a party was judging him, Dr. Hayes asked him to provide evidence for and against this belief. Alex realized that while he couldn't read minds, there was no solid evidence to suggest people were actually judging him negatively. In fact, he remembered instances where people had been friendly and welcoming. Dr. Hayes also introduced Alex to gradual exposure exercises. She helped him create a hierarchy of feared social situations, starting from less intimidating ones, like saying hello to a neighbor, to more challenging ones, like giving a presentation at work. By gradually facing these situations and using the coping strategies he learned, Alex began to build confidence. Over time, Alex noticed a significant reduction in his anxiety. He began to enjoy social interactions more and even started forming new friendships. He learned that his fears, while real, were often exaggerated and that he had the power to change his thought patterns and behaviors. Through his journey, Alex discovered the importance of self-compassion and resilience. He learned that everyone experiences self-doubt and that it's okay to feel anxious sometimes. With Dr. Hayes' guidance, he developed a more balanced and positive outlook on social interactions and his own capabilities. Dr. Hayes was thrilled to see Alex's progress. His transformation reinforced her belief in the power of psychological techniques like CBT to help individuals overcome their challenges and lead fulfilling lives. Alex's story became an inspiration to many others in the city, demonstrating that with the right support and strategies, it's possible to overcome even the most daunting psychological obstacles. Thanks for watching. Do subscribe.
Once upon a time, in a cozy little town nestled between rolling hills and a shimmering river, there was a small, charming library. In the heart of this library, on a shelf full of colorful and wondrous books, sat a very special red book. This red book had a gleaming cover and golden edges that sparkled under the warm, dim light of the library. The red book was no ordinary book. It was a magical book that held stories from lands far and wide, adventures filled with heroes and heroines, and secrets waiting to be uncovered. The book was waiting for someone special to open it and discover its enchanting tales. One sunny afternoon, a curious young girl named Emily wandered into the library. Emily loved stories and often dreamed of having her own adventures. Her eyes sparkled with excitement as she explored the rows of books. As she reached the back of the library, she noticed the glowing red book. It seemed to beckon her, whispering promises of incredible journeys. Emily carefully took the red book from the shelf and opened it. To her astonishment, the book began to speak. "Welcome, dear reader," it said in a gentle, melodic voice. "I am the Red Book of Adventures. Are you ready to embark on a journey with me?" With wide eyes and a racing heart, Emily nodded eagerly. The Red Book's pages began to turn by themselves, and before she knew it, she was transported into a vibrant, magical world. She found herself in a lush forest filled with talking animals, towering trees, and sparkling streams. "Your first adventure awaits," the Red Book said. "You must help the animals of the forest find their lost treasures. Each treasure holds a special story, and only a kind heart like yours can uncover them." Emily met a wise old owl named Oliver, who guided her through the forest. Together, they encountered a playful squirrel who had lost his golden acorn, a graceful deer searching for her silver bell, and a family of rabbits looking for their jeweled carrot. With each treasure she found, the Red Book shared a new story. Emily learned about bravery from the squirrel's tale, the importance of friendship from the deer's journey, and the value of kindness from the rabbit's adventure. Every story made her heart swell with joy and filled her with newfound wisdom. As the sun began to set, Emily returned the last treasure to the grateful animals. The forest glowed with a warm, golden light, and the Red Book gently closed its pages. "Thank you, Emily," the Red Book said. "You have shown great courage, friendship, and kindness. Remember, the magic of these stories lives within you. Whenever you need an adventure or a lesson, I will be here, waiting for you." With a bright smile and a heart full of happiness, Emily found herself back in the cozy library. She carefully placed the Red Book back on the shelf, knowing that it would be there for her whenever she needed it. And so, the Red Book waited, always ready to whisk away another curious reader on a magical adventure, teaching them the timeless values of courage, friendship, and kindness. And Emily? She left the library that day, her head filled with dreams and her heart ready for the next adventure. Thank you for watching.
Between rolling hills and lush green forests, there lived a young girl named Lily. Lily loved nothing more than spending time outdoors, but on this particular day, the sky was a blanket of grey, and raindrops tapped against her window. Lily frowned as she looked outside. "What a dreary day," she muttered to herself. But then, she remembered her grandmother's words, "Every rainy day is an adventure waiting to happen." Determined to make the most of the day, Lily put on her rain boots, grabbed her colorful umbrella, and stepped outside. The rain pattered against her umbrella as she walked, creating a soothing rhythm. She decided to explore the forest near her home. As she wandered deeper into the woods, the trees provided shelter from the rain, and the air was fresh and earthy. Lily spotted a tiny creature hopping among the ferns, a frog. She crouched down to get a closer look and giggled as it hopped away. Continuing her adventure, Lily came across a stream swollen with rainwater. She carefully stepped across stepping stones, feeling the cool water splash against her boots. On the other side, she discovered a hidden glade where wildflowers bloomed despite the rain. Suddenly, she heard a rustling in the bushes. Peeking through the leaves, she saw a family of deer grazing peacefully. They looked up at her with curious eyes before bounding away into the forest. Feeling energized by her discoveries, Lily decided to head toward the town square. She passed by cozy cafes and colorful storefronts, the rain turning the cobblestone streets into shimmering pathways. At the square, she found a group of children splashing in puddles, their laughter ringing through the air. Lily joined them, jumping and splashing with abandon. Afterward, she ducked into a nearby bookstore, where the scent of old books mingled with the sound of rain tapping against the windows. She spent hours lost in tales of far-off lands and daring adventures, feeling cozy and content. When the rain finally began to taper off, Lily emerged from the bookstore, her heart full of joy. She realized that her rainy day had been anything but dreary. It had been a wonderful adventure filled with new discoveries and unexpected moments of happiness. As she walked back home, the sun began to peek through the clouds, casting a warm glow over the town. Lily smiled, knowing that even on the rainiest of days, there was always sunshine waiting just around the corner. And with that thought, she skipped home, eagerly anticipating her next rainy day adventure.
In the bustling city of Arcadia, where skyscrapers kissed the sky and neon lights danced through the night, lived a man named Ethan Parker. Ethan wasn't just any ordinary man, he was a father of two spirited children, Lily and Max, and he held a secret that no one, not even his family, knew. By day, Ethan was a dedicated engineer, but by night, he transformed into Super Dad, a guardian of the city with powers that rivaled those of the most legendary superheroes. Ethan discovered his abilities in his 20s, shortly after Lily was born. He could lift cars with ease, run faster than a speeding bullet, and his senses were incredibly heightened. Despite his immense power, Ethan chose to keep his abilities hidden, fearing the chaos and danger it might bring to his family. Instead, he focused on being the best father he could be, ensuring Lily and Max grew up in a loving, stable environment. However, the tranquility of Arcadia was often disrupted by the notorious villain, Dr. Spectre, whose genius intellect and malevolent schemes threatened the city. Dr. Spectre, once a respected scientist, had turned rogue after a failed experiment, seeking revenge on the world that shunned him. His latest plot involved a device capable of controlling the weather, intending to unleash devastating storms upon Arcadia. One fateful night, while Ethan was reading a bedtime story to Max, his super hearing picked up distressing news from the city center. A massive storm was forming unnaturally, and the panicked voices of news reporters indicated Dr. Spectre's involvement. Ethan kissed Max goodnight and told Lily to take care of her brother, promising he'd be back soon. Donning his hidden suit, Ethan emerged as Super Dad. The suit, a marvel of his own engineering skills, was a sleek combination of titanium and Kevlar, offering both flexibility and protection. As he soared through the skies, the storm's ferocity intensified, lightning crackling and thunder roaring. Super Dad located Dr. Spectre atop Arcadia Tower, manipulating the weather with his malevolent machine. Spectre. Super Dad's voice boomed over the howling wind. This ends now. Dr. Spectre sneered, his eyes glinting with madness. Ah, Super Dad, always the meddler. Let's see if you can stop me this time. He activated the machine's full power, and the storm raged with newfound fury. Using his super speed, Super Dad dodged lightning bolts and flying debris. He approached the machine, but Dr. Spectre blocked his path, engaging him in a fierce battle. They exchanged blows, the impact of their clashes reverberating through the storm. Despite his strength, Super Dad was momentarily overwhelmed by Spectre's strategic mind and advanced weaponry. Drawing upon his unwavering determination and love for his family, Super Dad found a surge of strength. He deflected Spectre's attacks, outmaneuvering him and reaching the machine. With a Herculean effort, he tore the device from its foundation, rendering it inoperable. The storm began to subside, and the city breathed a collective sigh of relief. Dr. Spectre, defeated but not broken, vowed revenge before vanishing into the night. Super Dad, exhausted but victorious, flew home. He returned to his children's room, just in time to find Max and Lily still awake, waiting for him. "Daddy, you were gone for a long time," Lily said, her eyes wide with concern. Ethan smiled, his heart swelling with love. "I had some work to take care of, but everything's fine now." As he tucked them in, he realized that while the city needed a hero, his children needed their father more. Balancing his dual life was challenging, but for Ethan, it was worth it. He knew that as long as he was there for his family, he could face any storm, be it a villain's plot or the everyday challenges of fatherhood. And so, Super Dad continued to protect Arcadia, his true strength lying not just in his superpowers, but in the boundless love for his children and the determination to keep them safe. Thanks for watching.
Upon a time, in a small village nestled between lush green hills, there lived a young boy named Tim. Tim was a curious and adventurous lad who loved to explore the world around him. He spent his days playing in the fields, climbing trees, and chasing butterflies. One sunny morning, Tim's grandfather called him over to sit beside him under the old oak tree in their garden. Tim eagerly skipped over, wondering what his grandfather wanted to tell him. "Tim," his grandfather began, "I want to share with you a story about the value of time." Tim listened intently as his grandfather began his tale. Long ago, there was a kingdom ruled by a wise and just king. This king was beloved by all his subjects, and his kingdom prospered under his rule. One day, the king decided to host a grand contest to find the worthiest person in the kingdom to serve as his advisor. The king announced that whoever could bring him the most valuable thing in the world would be chosen as his advisor. People from far and wide traveled to the kingdom, bringing treasures and riches in hopes of winning the coveted position. Among the contestants was a poor farmer named Jacob. He had heard of the king's contest and decided to participate despite his humble circumstances. Jacob didn't have gold or jewels to offer, but he believed he had something valuable to share. As the day of the contest arrived, the courtyard of the palace was filled with people displaying their treasures. The king sat on his throne, observing each presentation with keen interest. One by one, the contestants came forward, presenting their offerings to the king. There were dazzling jewels, rare artifacts, and exotic animals from distant lands. But none of them seemed to impress the king. Finally, it was Jacob's turn. He approached the throne with a simple wooden box in his hands. The crowd murmured in disbelief at the farmer's audacity to present something so ordinary. "What do you have to offer, farmer?" the king asked, raising an eyebrow. Jacob opened the box, revealing nothing but a handful of sand. "This is the most valuable thing in the world, Your Majesty," Jacob said confidently. The king chuckled, amused by the farmer's claim. "Explain yourself, Jacob. How can a handful of sand be the most valuable thing in the world?" "Your Majesty," Jacob began, "this sand represents time. Time is the most precious resource we have. It cannot be bought or traded. Once it slips through our fingers, it is gone forever." The king nodded thoughtfully, intrigued by Jacob's wisdom. He realized that the farmer was right, time was indeed invaluable. Impressed by Jacob's insight, the king declared him the winner of the contest and appointed him as his advisor. From that day on, Jacob served the king with wisdom and humility, always reminding him of the value of time. Tim listened intently to his grandfather's story, his eyes wide with wonder. "So you see, Tim," His grandfather concluded, "Time is the most valuable thing we have. It's important to use it wisely and cherish every moment." Tim nodded, understanding the lesson his grandfather had taught him. From that day on, he vowed to make the most of his time, never taking a single moment for granted. And as he grew older, he too became known for his wisdom and his appreciation for the value of time. Thank you for watching this video.
Once upon a time, in the vast and shimmering ocean, there was a young dolphin named Danny. Danny was curious and loved to explore. He often swam far and wide, discovering new places and meeting new sea creatures. One sunny morning, Danny decided to explore a part of the ocean he had never visited before. As he swam deeper into the blue waters, he noticed a glimmering object at the bottom of the sea. His curiosity got the better of him, and he dived down to take a closer look. When Danny reached the seabed, he found a beautiful, old-fashioned key. He picked it up with his mouth and wondered what it could open. Just then, his friend, a wise old sea turtle named Tessa, swam by. "Hello, Danny," Tessa greeted. "What have you found there?" Danny showed Tessa the key and asked, "Do you know what this could be for?" Tessa examined the key closely and her eyes widened with excitement. "This is a very special key," she said. "Legend has it that it opens a treasure chest hidden in a secret underwater cave." Danny's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Can you take me to the cave, Tessa?" "Of course," Tessa replied. "Follow me." Tessa led Danny through a maze of colorful coral reefs, past schools of vibrant fish, and into a dark, mysterious part of the ocean. Finally, they arrived at the entrance of a hidden cave, covered with seaweed and guarded by a friendly octopus named Ollie. "Hello, Ollie," Tessa greeted. "We're here to find the treasure chest." Ollie nodded and moved aside, allowing them to enter the cave. Inside, the cave was filled with sparkling shells and glowing sea anemones. At the far end of the cave, partially buried in the sand, was a large, ancient chest. Danny swam up to the chest, heart pounding with excitement. He took the key and carefully inserted it into the lock. With a click, the chest opened, revealing a treasure trove of shiny pearls, glittering gems, and golden coins. But the real treasure wasn't just the gems and coins. At the very bottom of the chest, Danny found a map. Tessa looked over his shoulder and gasped. "This map shows the locations of all the hidden wonders of the ocean," Tessa explained. "With this, you can explore and learn about so many new places." Danny's excitement grew. "Thank you, Tessa. This is the best treasure ever." From that day on, Danny used the map to go on many adventures. He discovered underwater volcanoes, sunken ships, and even a beautiful coral castle. He made new friends and learned a lot about the ocean and its many secrets. And every time he returned home, he shared his stories with Tessa, Ollie, and all his friends, inspiring them to explore and discover the wonders of their underwater world. Danny's adventures taught him that the true treasure wasn't just gold and gems, but the joy of discovery and the friendships he made along the way. And so, Danny the dolphin continued to explore, always curious and always eager to learn. Thank you for watching.
On a time, in a small village nestled between rolling hills and dense forests, there lived a girl named Asha. Her most striking feature was her blue eyes, a rarity in her village. The villagers often whispered that her eyes held the sky's reflection, and some even believed she was touched by the divine. Asha lived with her grandmother, Amira, who was the village healer. Amira's wisdom and Asha's kindness made them beloved in the village. Asha spent her days gathering herbs and learning the ancient healing arts from Amira. Her curiosity and eagerness to help others made her a quick learner. One day, as Asha wandered deep into the forest to find a rare herb, she stumbled upon a hidden grove. At the center of the grove was a crystal-clear pond, its water sparkling like diamonds under the sun. Intrigued, Asha knelt by the water's edge and gazed into it. To her astonishment, the reflection that stared back at her was not her own, but that of a woman with long silver hair and eyes as blue as the ocean. The woman spoke, her voice gentle and melodious. Asha, you have found the pond of echoes. I am Elara, the guardian of this sacred place. It is said that those with pure hearts and clear intentions can communicate with the spirits of this pond. Asha, though startled, felt a strange calmness. She asked, "What do you wish from me, Elara?" Elara smiled, "Your village is in grave danger. A darkness is spreading from the mountains, and it will reach your home soon. Only someone with a heart as pure as yours can seek the help of the forest guardians and save your village." Asha nodded resolutely. "Tell me what I must do." Elara instructed Asha to follow the path through the forest until she reached the ancient oak tree, where she would find the entrance to the realm of the forest guardians. They would test her, and only if she proved her worth would they lend their aid. Asha returned to her village to inform Amira of her quest. Amira gave her a satchel filled with herbs and a pendant for protection. With a heavy heart, but a determined spirit, Asha set off into the forest. The journey was treacherous, with thorny bushes and hidden pitfalls. But Asha's blue eyes, which seemed to see more than others, helped her navigate the dangers. Finally, she reached the ancient oak tree. Its massive trunk was covered in intricate carvings that seemed to tell stories of old. Asha placed her hand on the tree, and a doorway appeared. She stepped through and found herself in a realm of ethereal beauty. Towering trees with leaves of gold and silver surrounded her, and the air was filled with the soft whispers of the forest spirits. A figure approached, tall and majestic, with antlers crowning his head. He was Orion, the leader of the forest guardians. "Why have you come, child of the blue eyes?" he asked. Asha explained her village's plight and her mission. Orion nodded, his eyes piercing yet kind. "We shall test your heart, Asha. If you pass, we will help." Asha faced 3 trials: the trial of courage, where she had to confront her deepest fears, the trial of wisdom, where she had to solve ancient riddles, and the trial of compassion, where she had to heal a wounded creature with her knowledge of herbs. Asha's courage, wisdom, and compassion shone through each trial. Impressed, Orion and the guardians agreed to aid her. They gave her a vial of enchanted water from the pond of echoes and instructed her to pour it into the village well to dispel the darkness. Asha hurried back to her village, and with Amira by her side, poured the enchanted water into the well. A bright light emanated, spreading through the village and driving away the creeping darkness. The villagers rejoiced, their hearts filled with gratitude for Asha and her blue eyes, which had seen beyond the ordinary and brought them salvation. Asha's bravery and kindness became a legend, and she was celebrated as a hero whose pure heart saved her village from doom. And so, Asha lived on, her blue eyes ever watchful, a symbol of hope and the extraordinary power of a pure heart. Thanks for watching. Do subscribe.
Once upon a time, in a quaint little town surrounded by lush forests and shimmering lakes, lived a girl named Leela. Leela was no ordinary girl. She had vibrant green hair that flowed like a waterfall down her back. Her hair matched the color of the leaves in spring, making her look like she was a part of the forest itself. Leela loved her green hair, but some people in the town found it strange and unusual. They would whisper and stare whenever she walked by, but Leela didn't mind. She was a cheerful and kind-hearted girl who believed in being herself, no matter what others thought. Every morning, Leela would go for a walk in the forest. She loved the peace and quiet, and the animals had become her friends. Birds would sing sweet songs just for her, and squirrels would playfully chase each other around her feet. Leela felt at home among the trees and flowers. One sunny day, while exploring a new path in the forest, Leela heard a soft, sad cry. She followed the sound until she found a tiny, golden-haired fairy sitting on a mushroom, tears streaming down her face. What's wrong? Leela asked gently, kneeling beside the fairy. The fairy looked up, her eyes filled with worry. I lost my way home, she sniffled. I was flying with my friends, but a strong wind blew me off course, and now I can't find them. Leela's heart went out to the little fairy. Don't worry, she said, smiling warmly. I know this forest very well. I'll help you find your way home. The fairy's face lit up with hope. Thank you. My name is Faye. I'm Leela, she replied. Let's start looking. As they walked through the forest, Leela and Faye talked and laughed. They discovered they had a lot in common, despite their differences. Faye told Leela about her magical fairy world hidden deep in the forest, a place filled with sparkling flowers and shimmering lights. After a while, they reached a beautiful clearing with a sparkling pond in the center. Faye's eyes widened with joy. This is it. This is the entrance to my home. Leela watched in amazement as Faye fluttered her wings and began to glow. A hidden doorway appeared in the air, leading to a breathtaking world filled with other fairies. Thank you, Leela, Faye said, hugging her new friend. You're always welcome in our world. Just follow the path to this clearing and call my name. With that, Faye flew through the doorway, which disappeared in a shower of golden sparkles. Leela felt a sense of happiness and fulfillment. She had made a new friend and discovered a magical secret. When Leela returned to town, she noticed something different. People were smiling at her, and some even complimented her green hair. It seemed that helping Faye had brought a touch of magic to the town, making people more accepting and kind. Leela continued to visit the forest and sometimes went to the fairy world to see Faye. Her green hair remained a symbol of her unique and kind spirit, reminding everyone that being different was something to be celebrated. And so, Leela lived happily, always staying true to herself and spreading kindness wherever she went. Thanks for watching.
Once upon a time, in a small village nestled among rolling hills and lush greenery, there lived a girl named Sarah. Sarah was known throughout the village for her laziness. While other girls her age spent their days helping their families with chores or exploring the countryside, Sarah preferred to lounge around and do as little as possible. Sarah's parents, who worked hard to make ends meet, often scolded her for her laziness, but nothing seemed to motivate her to change her ways. She would ignore their pleas to help out around the house and would spend her days daydreaming under the shade of the old oak tree in their backyard. One sunny morning, as Sarah lay in the grass, watching the clouds drift by, she heard a commotion coming from the village square. Curious, she lazily got up and wandered over to see what was happening. To her surprise, a traveling circus had arrived in town, complete with acrobats, jugglers, and a colorful tent filled with wonders. Sarah's eyes lit up with excitement as she watched the performers dazzle the crowd with their tricks and stunts. She was particularly captivated by a graceful dancer who twirled effortlessly across the stage. As the show came to an end, Sarah approached the dancer and asked her how she learned to move so beautifully. The dancer smiled and told Sarah about the years of hard work and dedication it took to master her craft. She explained that while talent was important, it was perseverance and practice that truly made a great dancer. Inspired by the dancer's words, Sarah decided that she wanted to learn how to dance too. She begged her parents to enroll her in dance classes, promising that she would finally put in the effort to excel. Reluctantly, her parents agreed, hoping that this newfound interest would finally motivate their daughter to be more productive. At first, Sarah struggled with the rigorous training and discipline required to become a dancer. She would often complain and make excuses to skip practice, preferring instead to laze around at home. But with encouragement from her teacher and the memory of the graceful dancer from the circus, Sarah slowly began to improve. As weeks turned into months, Sarah's dedication to her dancing grew. She practiced tirelessly, pushing herself to master each new step and routine. Her once sluggish movements became fluid and graceful, and soon she was performing in recitals and competitions, much to the amazement of her family and friends. But as Sarah's passion for dancing flourished, her old habits of laziness began to resurface. She started neglecting her chores again, skipping rehearsals to nap in the sun, and procrastinating on her schoolwork. Her parents, who had hoped that dance would teach Sarah the value of hard work, grew increasingly frustrated with her behavior. Determined to make things right, Sarah apologized to her teacher and promised to redouble her efforts. She threw herself into her dancing with renewed vigor, using it as a reminder to stay focused and disciplined in all aspects of her life. Over time, Sarah's hard work paid off. She became a star dancer in the village, beloved by all for her talent and dedication. Her parents, proud of the transformation their daughter had undergone, watched her performances with tears of joy in their eyes. And so, the once lazy girl named Sarah learned that with perseverance and determination, she could achieve anything she set her mind to. From that day forward, she vowed never to let her laziness hold her back again, knowing that the only limits in life were the ones she placed on herself. Thank you so much for watching this video.
John, hi, I'm John. This is my first time in America. Mike, hi John. Welcome. I'm Mike. Where are you from? John, I'm from Italy. I came here for a student exchange program. Mike, that's awesome. How do you like it here so far? John, it's amazing. Everything is so different from back home. The cities are so big, and there are so many people. Mike, yeah, America can be overwhelming at first. Have you had the chance to explore any places yet? John, I visited New York City. It was incredible. The Statue of Liberty, Times Square, Central Park. There's so much to see. Mike, New York is definitely a great place to start. Have you tried any American food yet? John, yes, I tried a hamburger and fries. They were delicious. I also had a hot dog from a street vendor in New York. Mike, classic American eats. You should also try some regional specialties. Like in the South, you'll find amazing barbecue. John, that sounds great. I'll definitely try that. What do you like to do for fun around here? Mike, there are lots of things to do. You can visit museums, go to sports events, or just hang out at local cafes. If you are into outdoor activities, there are parks and hiking trails too. John, I enjoy hiking. Back home, I used to hike in the mountains with my family. Any good spots you'd recommend? Mike, absolutely. If you have time, you should check out the national parks. They're stunning. Closer to the city, there are some nice trails too. John, I'll make sure to check them out. What about school? How different is it here compared to other countries? Mike, well, schools here are pretty diverse. You'll meet people from all over the world. The classes might be bigger, and there are lots of extracurricular activities. John, that's good to know. I'm excited to make new friends and experience the culture. Mike, you'll do great. If you need any help or advice, just ask. Americans are generally friendly and willing to help. John, thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to my time here. Mike, anytime, John. By the way, do you play any sports? John, yes, I play soccer. It's very popular in Italy. Do you play? Mike, I play basketball. It's huge here in America. You should come to one of our games sometime. John, I'd love that. Basketball is exciting. I'll need to learn more about the rules, though. Mike, no problem. It's pretty easy to pick up. I'll explain it to you during the game. John, thanks, Mike. What about American holidays? I've heard they can be pretty special. Mike, definitely. Thanksgiving is a big one. It's all about family, food, and giving thanks. You should join us for a Thanksgiving dinner. John, that sounds wonderful. We don't have Thanksgiving in Italy. What kind of food is served? Mike, lots of things, but the main dish is usually turkey. There's also stuffing, mashed potatoes, cranberry sauce, and pumpkin pie for dessert. John, that sounds delicious. I can't wait to try it. Are there any other holidays I should know about? Mike, Christmas is big here too, similar to Europe. And then there's the 4th of July, which is all about celebrating Independence Day with fireworks, barbecues, and parades. John, I think I'll be here for the 4th of July. It sounds like a lot of fun. Mike, it definitely is. You'll get to see some amazing fireworks displays. Do you have any plans to travel within the US? John, yes. I'd love to visit the West Coast. I've heard great things about Los Angeles and San Francisco. Mike, both are amazing cities. Los Angeles has Hollywood, beautiful beaches, and great weather. San Francisco has the Golden Gate Bridge, Alcatraz, and a cool vibe. John, I can't wait to see them. Traveling around the US seems like such an adventure. Mike, it is. Each state has its own unique culture and attractions. You'll never run out of things to do or see. John, thanks for all the tips, Mike. You've been really helpful. Mike, no problem, John. I'm glad to help. Enjoy your time here and make the most of it. This conversation about American culture, holidays, sports, food and travel, giving a richer picture of John's experience in America. Thank you. Do subscribe.
Once upon a time, in the heart of a lush valley surrounded by rolling hills, lay the quaint village of Elmswood. Summer in Elmswood was a magical time. The air buzzed with the symphony of cicadas, the meadows were carpeted with wildflowers, and the Elmswood River sparkled like a ribbon of sapphires under the sun. This particular summer, a curious event stirred the villagers. A mysterious traveler named Mara arrived, riding a horse as white as snow. Mara was no ordinary traveler. She carried an old, intricately carved wooden box, rumored to be enchanted. Whispers and speculations filled the village square as Mara set up camp by the river. Every evening, Mara would gather the children of Elmswood by the riverbank and tell them stories from the box. Each story was more fantastical than the last, filled with talking animals, brave adventurers, and distant lands. But the stories weren't merely tales, they felt vivid and real, as if the children were living them. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Mara pulled out the box and said, "Tonight, I will share the tale of the endless summer." The children leaned in closer, their eyes wide with anticipation. Long ago, Mara began, in a kingdom where summer never ended, there was a princess named Serafina. She loved the endless sunshine, the never-fading flowers, and the eternal blue skies. But as much as Serafina loved her summer kingdom, she was also curious about the other seasons she had read about in ancient scrolls: winter's snow, autumn's golden leaves, and spring's blossoms. One day, Serafina discovered a hidden grove in the forest where an old, wise owl named Osric resided. She asked Osric how she could experience the other seasons. Osric, with his deep umber eyes, told her about the Crystal of Seasons, a magical gem hidden in the heart of the enchanted mountain. This crystal had the power to bring the other seasons to the kingdom. Determined, Serafina set out on her journey. She faced many challenges, crossing treacherous rivers, climbing steep cliffs, and solving ancient riddles. Along the way, she befriended a mischievous fox named Felix and a kind-hearted deer named Dahlia. Together, they braved the enchanted forest, where trees whispered secrets and shadows played tricks. After days of travel, they reached the enchanted mountain. At its peak, they found the crystal of seasons guarded by a dragon with scales that shimmered like fire. Serafina, with her bravery and kindness, spoke to the dragon, learning that it was cursed to guard the crystal forever. She offered to share her endless summer in exchange for the crystal. Touched by her selflessness, the dragon agreed, and the curse was lifted. Serafina returned to her kingdom with the crystal of seasons. As she placed it in the palace garden, the air shimmered with magic. The kingdom experienced its first snowfall, autumn leaves, and spring blooms. The people rejoiced, and Serafina's kingdom became a place of eternal wonder, where every season was celebrated. As Mara finished, the children sat in awe, the story painting vivid pictures in their minds. The fireflies danced around them as if applauding the tale. Mara smiled, closed the wooden box, and said, "Remember, the magic of stories lies within you. Cherish each season and every moment." That summer in Elmswood, the children learned the value of curiosity, bravery, and the beauty of change, thanks to Mara and her enchanted stories. And though Mara left as mysteriously as she had come, the magic she brought lingered in Elmswood, making every summer a little more special. Thanks for watching. Do subscribe.
The beggar who became a millionaire. In the bustling city of Marktown, a beggar named Sam sat on the same corner every day, hoping for a few coins from the passers-by. Sam's clothes were tattered, his hair unkempt, and his face etched with the lines of hardship. Yet, behind his weary eyes lay a mind sharp with curiosity and dreams unfulfilled. Sam had once been a scholar, studying engineering at a prestigious university. A tragic accident had claimed his family and his will to continue. Homeless and destitute, he drifted through life, his potential buried beneath layers of grief and misfortune. Despite his dire circumstances, Sam never lost his love for learning. Every discarded newspaper or old book was a treasure trove of knowledge to him. One chilly autumn day, a wealthy businessman named Mr. Thornton noticed Sam while waiting for a traffic light. Intrigued by the beggar's intense focus on a tattered physics book, he approached Sam and struck up a conversation. Sam's articulate speech and deep understanding of complex topics fascinated Mr. Thornton. He saw not just a beggar, but a man with a brilliant mind, beaten down by fate. Moved by Sam's story and potential, Mr. Thornton offered him a chance. He proposed a small job at his company, Thornton Industries, to see what Sam could do with a bit of support. Sam accepted, grateful and eager to prove himself. The job was simple, sorting through old documents. But Sam approached it with meticulous care, often offering insights and solutions to problems he discovered in the old files. Mr. Thornton, impressed by Sam's work ethic and intelligence, decided to invest more in him. He provided Sam with new clothes, a modest apartment, and, most importantly, access to the company's library and resources. Sam spent his days working diligently, and his nights immersed in books and online courses, catching up on lost years of education. Over time, Sam's contributions became indispensable. He developed innovative solutions to streamline the company's manufacturing processes, saving Thornton Industries millions of dollars. His unique perspective, shaped by years of hardship, and his undying love for learning brought fresh ideas that no one else had considered. As Sam's value to the company grew, so did his responsibilities and compensation. Mr. Thornton, recognizing his protege's brilliance, appointed him as the head of the Research and Development Department. Under Sam's leadership, Thornton Industries flourished, pioneering new technologies and expanding into international markets. Sam's life transformed rapidly. He went from a beggar on the streets to a respected and wealthy executive. Despite his newfound wealth, he remained humble and empathetic, never forgetting the struggles he had endured. He set up programs within the company to provide education and job opportunities for the homeless and underprivileged, ensuring others received the same second chance that he had. Years passed, and Sam became a renowned figure in the business world. His story of transformation inspired many, a living testament to the power of kindness and the potential within every individual. He used his wealth not only to live comfortably, but also to support countless charitable causes, focusing on education and poverty alleviation. One evening, as he looked out from the balcony of his luxurious penthouse, Sam reflected on his journey. From the cold, hard streets to the height of success, it had been a path paved with pain, perseverance, and unexpected kindness. He knew that while he had worked hard, it was the compassion of one man, Mr. Thornton, that had set him on this path. With a contented sigh, Sam turned back to his work, a new project aimed at creating affordable housing for the homeless. For him, success was not just measured by the wealth he had amassed, but by the positive impact he could make in the lives of others. And in that mission, he found his true calling and greatest joy. Thanks for watching this video. Do like and subscribe. Once upon a time in a small town, there was a high school named Oak Ridge High. It was the beginning of the school year, and the hallways buzzed with excitement and chatter. Among the new faces was a boy named Max, a quiet and thoughtful senior who preferred the company of books over people. He was often seen in the school library, lost in a world of his own. One day, as Max was immersed in a novel, a girl named Emily walked into the library. She was new to the school, and everything felt overwhelming. Searching for a quiet place to escape, she noticed Max sitting alone and decided to sit at a nearby table. Over the next few days, Emily and Max found themselves in the library at the same time. Emily would occasionally glance over at Max, intrigued by his calm demeanor and curious about the stories that seemed to captivate him so much. One afternoon, gathering her courage, she approached him. "Hi, I'm Emily. Do you mind if I sit here?" Max looked up, surprised but welcoming. "Sure, I'm Max. Nice to meet you." As days turned into weeks, a quiet friendship blossomed between them. They shared their favorite books, discussed characters and plots, and even exchanged notes on the margins of their novels. Max discovered that Emily had a passion for poetry, and she introduced him to her favorite poets, opening a new world of literature to him. One crisp autumn afternoon, while they were reading in their favorite corner of the library, Emily shyly handed Max a folded piece of paper. It was a poem she had written about finding solace in unexpected places. Max read it, feeling a warmth spread through his chest. He looked up at Emily and saw her eyes reflecting the same feelings he had been too shy to express. "Emily, this is beautiful," he said softly. "You have a real gift." Emily smiled, her cheeks flushing. "I wanted to share it with you because you've made this place feel like home for me." From that moment on, their bond grew stronger. They began spending time together outside the library, exploring the town, and supporting each other through the ups and downs of school life. Max helped Emily navigate her new surroundings, and Emily brought out a side of Max that he had kept hidden for so long. As the school year drew to a close, Max and Emily knew their paths would soon diverge, but their hearts were filled with gratitude for the time they had shared. On their last day at Oak Ridge High, they sat under the old oak tree in the courtyard, reading one last poem together. "Even if we're apart," Max said, "we'll always have our stories." Emily nodded, tears in her eyes but a smile on her lips. "And our poetry," she added. With that, they parted ways, carrying with them the memories of a love that had quietly blossomed in the most unexpected of places. And though life took them in different directions, the bond they shared through their love of stories and each other remained a cherished chapter in both their lives. Thank you for watching.
In the heart of the dense Amazon rainforest, where the trees touched the sky and the rivers flowed like veins through the land, there lived a majestic elephant named Amar. Amar was unlike any other elephant in the jungle. He possessed not only incredible strength but also wisdom beyond his years. Amar was known as the guardian of the rainforest, watching over its inhabitants with a gentle yet commanding presence. He spent his days wandering through the lush greenery, his massive frame moving gracefully among the towering trees. One day, as Amar was exploring a remote corner of the jungle, he stumbled upon a hidden grove where a family of endangered jaguars had made their home. The jaguars were in trouble, their habitat threatened by illegal loggers who sought to exploit the riches of the rainforest. Determined to protect his fellow creatures, Amar rallied the animals of the jungle to stand together against the invaders. With his strength and leadership, they waged a peaceful but powerful protest, blocking the loggers' access to the precious trees. Despite facing great danger, Amar never wavered in his resolve to defend the rainforest. He used his wisdom to negotiate with humans, urging them to understand the importance of preserving the delicate balance of nature. As the days passed, more and more animals joined the cause, inspired by Amar's courage and determination. Birds sang songs of solidarity from the treetops, while monkeys chattered excitedly as they swung from branch to branch, spreading the message of unity throughout the jungle. The loggers soon realized that they were no match for the united front of the rainforest's inhabitants. With their machinery silenced and their plans thwarted, they retreated from the jungle, leaving behind a legacy of conservation and respect for nature. From that day forward, Amar was hailed as a hero among the animals of the Amazon. He became a symbol of hope and resilience, teaching future generations the importance of protecting their home and standing up for what is right. And so, under Amar's wise guidance, the rainforest thrived, its lush greenery teeming with life once more. The animals lived in harmony, grateful for the noble elephant who had saved their home and ensured a future where the Amazon would continue to flourish for generations to come. Thank you for watching this video.
Once upon a time, in a small village nestled in the heart of India, there lived a young girl named Meera. Meera was known for her courage and adventurous spirit, but she had a secret fear, the legend of the Bhutni. The Bhutni was a ghost said to roam the village at night, haunting anyone who dared to cross her path. Some said she was the spirit of a woman who had been wronged in her lifetime, seeking revenge on the living. Others claimed she was simply a figment of imagination, born out of fear and superstition. Despite the villagers' warnings, Meera was curious about the legend of the Bhutni. She wanted to know if there was any truth to the tales that sent shivers down the spines of even the bravest souls in the village. One moonlit night, when the stars sparkled like diamonds in the sky, Meera decided to venture into the forest where the Bhutni was said to dwell. Armed with only a lantern and her courage, she stepped into the darkness, her heart pounding with anticipation. As Meera walked deeper into the forest, the trees seemed to whisper ancient secrets, and shadows danced around her like ghosts. But she pressed on, determined to uncover the truth. Suddenly, Meera heard a faint rustling behind her. She turned around, her lantern casting airy shadows on the trees. And there, standing before her, was a figure cloaked in darkness, the Bhutni. Meera's heart raced as she stared at the ghostly apparition. But instead of feeling fear, she felt a strange sense of compassion. She could see sadness in the Bhutni's eyes, as if she were trapped in a world between the living and the dead. Without hesitation, Meera approached the Bhutni, her lantern casting a warm glow around them. "Why do you haunt this forest?" she asked softly. The Bhutni's voice was like a whisper carried on the wind. "I seek justice," she replied. "Long ago, I was betrayed and left to wander these woods for eternity." Meera listened intently as the Bhutni told her story, a tale of love and betrayal, of promises broken and hearts shattered. She learned that the Bhutni was once a young woman named Lata, who had been wronged by those she trusted most. Filled with empathy, Meera vowed to help the Bhutni find peace. Together, they embarked on a journey to uncover the truth behind Lata's tragic fate. Through their adventures, Meera discovered that the villagers' fear of the Bhutni was born out of ignorance and misunderstanding. Lata was not a vengeful spirit, but a soul in need of redemption. With Meera's help, Lata's story was brought to light, and the villagers came to understand the truth of her plight. They realized that the Bhutni was not to be feared, but to be respected and remembered. In the end, Lata's spirit found peace, and the forest was no longer haunted by the spectre of the Bhutni. Meera had faced her fears and found a friend in the most unlikely of places. From that day forward, Meera became known as the girl who befriended the Bhutni. And though the legend of the ghost lingered in the memories of the villagers, it was no longer a tale of terror, but one of compassion and understanding. As for Meera, she continued to explore the world around her, knowing that sometimes, the greatest adventures can be found in the most unexpected places. And though she may never forget the night she met the Bhutni, she would always treasure the day shared.
Once upon a time, in the bustling city of Metropolis, there lived a wealthy and arrogant young man named Alexander. He was the heir to a vast fortune amassed by his ancestors, and he flaunted his wealth at every opportunity. Alexander believed himself to be superior to everyone around him, looking down on those he deemed unworthy of his attention. Despite his wealth, Alexander lacked true friends or genuine happiness. His arrogance repelled others, leaving him isolated in his opulent mansion with only his material possessions for company. One day, as Alexander strolled through the city streets, he encountered a beggar sitting on the sidewalk, his weathered face lined with hardship. "Get out of my way, peasant!" Alexander spat, wrinkling his nose in disgust. The beggar looked up at Alexander with tired eyes but said nothing. This lack of response only fueled Alexander's arrogance further. He kicked at the beggar's outstretched hand, scattering a few coins onto the ground. "That's all you are worth?" Alexander sneered, striding away with a smug grin. But as Alexander continued on his way, something strange happened. He felt a sudden dizziness overcome him, and the world around him began to spin. When he opened his eyes again, he found himself in a dimly lit room, surrounded by unfamiliar faces. "What's going on?" Alexander demanded, his voice tinged with fear. "You are in the court of consequences," a voice boomed from the shadows. "You have been brought here to face judgment for your arrogance and cruelty." Alexander's heart pounded in his chest as he realized the gravity of his situation. Before him stood a figure draped in a flowing robe, its face obscured by darkness. "I am the arbiter," the figure declared. "And it is my duty to determine your fate." With a wave of its hand, the arbiter conjured images from Alexander's past, scenes of his mistreatment of others, his disdain for those less fortunate, and his relentless pursuit of wealth and power. As Alexander watched in horror, he saw the pain and suffering he had caused, reflected back at him in vivid detail. "Have you no remorse for your actions?" the arbiter asked, its voice echoing in the chamber. Alexander felt a lump form in his throat as he struggled to find the words. For the first time in his life, he was confronted with the consequences of his arrogance, and he was filled with regret. I didn't realize." Alexander stammered, his voice barely above a whisper. But before he could say more, the arbiter held up a hand to silence him. "Your words mean nothing without action to back them up," the arbiter intoned. "You have a choice to make. Continue down the path of arrogance and face eternal punishment, or learn humility and seek redemption." With a heavy heart, Alexander chose the latter, determined to change his ways and make amends for his past misdeeds. The arbiter nodded in approval and granted Alexander a second chance, returning him to the world with a newfound sense of purpose. From that day forward, Alexander dedicated himself to helping others and using his wealth for the greater good. He established charities, built schools and hospitals, and worked tirelessly to uplift those in need. Over time, he earned the respect and admiration of his peers, not for his wealth or status, but for his humility and compassion. In the end, Alexander learned that true greatness is not measured by the size of one's bank account or the grandeur of one's possessions, but by the kindness and generosity one shows to others. And though his journey had been fraught with hardship and self-discovery, Alexander emerged a changed man, ready to embrace a life of humility and service to others. Thank you for watching this video.
I woke up at 7 a.m. The first thing I did was reach for my phone to check the time and any messages. After lying in bed for a few minutes, I got up and headed to the bathroom to take a quick shower. Feeling refreshed, I went to the kitchen to make breakfast. I brewed a cup of coffee and made a bowl of oatmeal with some fresh fruit. While eating, I thought about the tasks I needed to complete for the day. By 8 a.m., I was dressed and ready to leave for work. I drove to the office, listening to a podcast during the commute, which took about 30 minutes. Work. I arrived at the office around 8:30 a.m. I greeted my coworkers and made my way to my desk. The first thing I did was check my emails and reply to the urgent ones. At 9 a.m., we had a daily team meeting to discuss ongoing projects and priorities. The meeting lasted about 45 minutes. After the meeting, I focused on preparing a report that was due by the end of the day. Around 11 a.m., I took a short break to grab another coffee and chat with a colleague about their weekend plans. By noon, I felt hungry and went to a nearby cafe for lunch. I ordered a turkey sandwich and a side salad. Afternoon. After lunch, I returned to the office and continued working on my report. I had a conference call with a client at 2 p.m., so I spent some time preparing for it. The call went well and lasted about an hour. The client was pleased with our progress, which was a relief. After the call, I finalized my report and submitted it to my manager. By 4 p.m., I had completed most of my tasks, so I spent the last hour catching up on smaller tasks and planning for the next day. I left the office around 5:30 p.m. evening. On my way home, I decided to stop by the gym for a quick workout. I spent about 45 minutes there, focusing on cardio and some lightweight training. After the gym, I went home and took a refreshing shower. Feeling hungry, I started preparing dinner. I made grilled chicken with steamed broccoli and quinoa. While cooking, I listened to some music to relax. After dinner, I cleaned up the kitchen and then settled on the couch to watch an episode of a TV series I'm currently enjoying. It was a great way to unwind. Around 8 p.m., I called my parents to catch up with them and hear about their day. Night. Around 9 p.m., I decided to watch a movie. I chose a light-hearted comedy, which made me laugh and helped me relax. After the movie, I spent a few minutes checking social media and replying to messages from friends. By 10:30 p.m., I was starting to feel tired, so I decided to wind down for the night. I brushed my teeth, washed my face, and changed into my pajamas. Before bed, I read a few chapters of a book I'm currently reading. Reading always helps me relax and get ready for sleep. By 11:30 p.m., I set my alarm for the next day and turned off the lights. I lay in bed, reflecting on the day and thinking about what I needed to do tomorrow. Eventually, I drifted off to sleep around midnight. Practicing this routine out loud can help you become more comfortable speaking in English. Remember, it's okay to start slowly and gradually build up your confidence.
John couldn't contain his excitement whenever he talked about his girlfriend, Emily. His friends had heard about her many times, but each story he shared seemed to bring out a new layer of his admiration for her. "You guys don't understand," John began one evening at a small gathering with his close friends. "Emily is more than just beautiful, she has this incredible way of seeing the world. When we first met, it was her laugh that caught my attention. It's this pure, unrestrained laughter that can fill a whole room with joy. And it's not just that, it's how she can find humor in the little things, even on the toughest days." His friends listened attentively, some smiling, some nodding in agreement. They had seen the change in John ever since he started dating Emily. He seemed happier, more at peace. "Last weekend," John continued, "we had this amazing day planned out. Emily knows how much I love exploring new places, so she surprised me with a trip to this hidden gem of a town about an hour away. We wandered through quaint streets, explored antique shops, and even stumbled upon a little bakery where we shared the best chocolate croissant I've ever tasted. It's these little adventures that make our time together so special." John paused, his expression growing more serious as he reflected on deeper moments. "But it's not just the fun times. Emily has been there for me through some pretty rough patches. When my grandmother passed away last year, I was a mess. Emily dropped everything to be by my side. She held my hand through the funeral, listened to my stories about Grandma, and stayed up with me on those sleepless nights, just talking and comforting me. I don't know how I would have gotten through that without her. She's got this incredible passion for painting," he added, eyes lighting up again. You should see her when she's in her studio. It's like watching magic happen. She loses herself in her work, and the way she brings her emotions to life on canvas is something else. She's even been featured in a couple of local galleries. I'm so proud of her." His friend Tom chimed in, "She sounds amazing, John. It's clear she means a lot to you." John nodded, a soft smile playing on his lips. "Yeah, she does. And it's not just the big gestures. It's the everyday things. Like, she remembers how I like my coffee, 2 sugars, no cream. She leaves little notes in my lunchbox, just to brighten my day. And the way she looks at me, with so much love and understanding. I never thought I could feel this way about anyone." His friends were silent for a moment, absorbing John's heartfelt words. Finally, Sarah, one of his closest friends, spoke up. "John, you are really lucky to have found someone like Emily. And she's lucky to have someone who loves her as much as you do." John's smile widened. "I know, right? Sometimes I wonder how I got so lucky. She makes me want to be a better person every day. I just hope I can be as good to her as she's been to me." As the evening wore on, John continued sharing stories about Emily, the time they got caught in a rainstorm and danced like kids, the way she cheered him on during his marathon, and the quiet nights they spent reading together, content in each other's presence. His friends could see how deeply John cared for her, and it was clear that Emily had brought a light into his life that he never knew was missing. Thanks for watching.
In a quiet coastal town called Seabreeze, lived an elderly man named Thomas. He was known for his wise stories and kind heart, but what made him truly special was his lifelong dedication to a unique project, building a lighthouse by hand. Thomas had begun this project in his youth, inspired by his father, a lighthouse keeper who had perished in a fierce storm while saving sailors from a shipwreck. Determined to honor his father's legacy, Thomas set out to build a lighthouse that would stand as a beacon of hope and safety for all who sailed the treacherous waters of Seabreeze. For decades, Thomas toiled on the lighthouse. He faced numerous challenges: the harsh coastal weather, lack of resources, and his advancing age. Yet, every day, he would carry stones from the beach, mix mortar, and carefully place each stone with meticulous care. The townspeople admired his dedication but doubted he would ever complete the project. One summer, a young boy named Jack moved to Seabreeze. Curious and energetic, Jack often wandered the beach, where he discovered Thomas working on the lighthouse. Fascinated, Jack began visiting Thomas regularly, asking questions and offering to help. Thomas welcomed the company and eagerly shared his knowledge. Under the old man's patient guidance, Jack learned how to mix mortar, place stones, and understand the importance of perseverance. Thomas would often tell Jack, "Every stone counts, just like every effort you make in life." As years passed, Jack grew into a strong young man, and his bond with Thomas deepened. Together, they made significant progress on the lighthouse. However, the townspeople remained skeptical, convinced the lighthouse would never be finished. One fateful autumn, a massive storm hit Seabreeze. The winds howled, and waves crashed against the shore with unprecedented fury. The townspeople took shelter, fearing for their lives. In the chaos, Jack realized that Thomas was still at the lighthouse, working tirelessly to ensure its completion. Braving the storm, Jack rushed to the lighthouse. He found Thomas exhausted but resolute, placing the final stones. With Jack's help, they managed to finish the structure just as the storm reached its peak. As the wind threatened to tear them apart, they lit the lantern at the top of the lighthouse. The beacon shone brightly through the storm, guiding a distressed ship safely to shore. The next morning, as the storm subsided, the townspeople emerged to find the lighthouse standing tall and proud. They were in awe of Thomas and Jack's achievement. Thomas, now frail and weary, smiled as he saw the ship's crew expressing their gratitude. He knew his father's legacy had been honored, and Seabreeze would be safer because of his and Jack's efforts. Thomas passed away peacefully soon after, content that his life's work was complete. Jack, inspired by Thomas' unwavering dedication and wisdom, took on the role of the lighthouse keeper. He maintained the lighthouse meticulously, ensuring its light continued to shine for generations. He also became a mentor to the town's children, sharing Thomas' stories and the invaluable lesson that perseverance, no matter the odds, can illuminate even the darkest nights. The lighthouse of Seabreeze stood as a symbol of hope, resilience, and the enduring power of one man's dream, reminding everyone that every stone, every effort, and every act of kindness counts. Thanks for watching.
Once upon a time, in the bustling city of Mumbai, lived Arav, a talented street photographer known for capturing the soul of the city through his lens. Despite his success, Arav felt an emptiness in his life, a void that his art couldn't fill. He spent his days wandering the streets, searching for that elusive something that would complete his heart. One rainy afternoon, as the monsoon clouds darkened the sky and the city seemed to shimmer under a veil of rain, Arav took refuge in a quaint, old-world cafe tucked away in a narrow lane. The cafe was known for its charm and the eccentric owner, Mrs. Kapoor, who had a penchant for predicting people's destinies. As Arav sipped his steaming cup of chai, he noticed a girl sitting by the window, lost in her book. Her name was Meera, a writer who had just moved to Mumbai in search of inspiration. Her face glowed with the soft light filtering through the rain-speckled window, and her eyes, deep and expressive, seemed to hold countless stories. Arav couldn't take his eyes off her. He felt a magnetic pull, as if the universe had conspired to bring them together at that precise moment. Their eyes met, and in that instant, both felt a jolt of recognition, as if they had known each other for ages. Arav's heart raced, and without a second thought, he picked up his camera, aiming to capture this serendipitous moment. But as he looked through the lens, he realized that no photograph could do justice to the connection he felt. Meera, sensing someone's gaze, looked up and caught Arav's eyes through the camera lens. Instead of feeling intruded upon, she felt an inexplicable warmth, a sense of belonging that she had never experienced before. She smiled, a smile that made Arav's heart flutter. Mustering up his courage, Arav approached her. "Mind if I join you?" he asked, trying to sound casual despite his pounding heart. "Not at all," Meera replied, her voice as soothing as the rain outside. They talked for hours, sharing their dreams, passions, and the inexplicable feeling that they had finally found something they had been searching for all their lives. Arav learned that Meera had a fascination with stories of the past, and she was writing a novel about a love that transcended time and space. Meera discovered Arav's gift for capturing the essence of Mumbai, turning everyday moments into timeless pieces of art. As the evening drew to a close, they exchanged numbers, promising to meet again. Over the next few weeks, they explored Mumbai together, Arav with his camera and Meera with her notebook. They visited old bookshops, historical landmarks, and hidden alleys, each place becoming a chapter in their blossoming love story. One day, Arav took Meera to an old, abandoned mansion on the outskirts of the city. It was a place he had discovered years ago, a place that seemed frozen in time. As they wandered through the dusty rooms, they stumbled upon an old, forgotten trunk. Inside, they found letters and photographs from a couple who had lived there decades ago. The love letters told a story of a love that endured despite societal norms and family opposition. Inspired by this discovery, Meera decided to weave this story into her novel, intertwining it with her own growing feelings for Arav. The mansion became their secret sanctuary, a place where they could escape from the world and dream about a future together. Months passed, and their bond deepened. One evening, under a sky ablaze with the colors of sunset, Arav took Meera to the rooftop of the mansion. There, amidst the ruins, he confessed his love, expressing how meeting her had changed his life forever. With tears of joy in her eyes, Meera reciprocated, realizing that Arav was the missing piece in her life's puzzle. Their love story, born in the heart of a city known for its chaos, became an inspiration for many. Arav's photographs of Meera, intertwined with the essence of Mumbai, and Meera's novel, a beautiful tapestry of past and present love, captured the hearts of all who came across them. And so, amidst the rain-soaked streets and the timeless allure of Mumbai, Arav and Meera's love story became a testament to the magic of love at first sight, proving that sometimes, the most beautiful tales are the ones written by destiny itself. Thank you for watching. Do subscribe.
Title: The Miracle of Faith. Once upon a time, in a small village nestled among green hills, there lived a young boy named Ali. Ali was a curious child who loved to explore the world around him. He often wandered through the fields and forests, marveling at the wonders of nature. Ali's family was very religious. They believed in God and taught Ali to pray and be thankful for all the blessings they received. Every evening, they gathered for dinner and thanked God for the food on their table and the roof over their heads. One day, as Ali was playing near the village well, he heard a soft voice calling his name. Surprised, he looked around but saw no one. Then he heard the voice again, "Ali, don't be afraid. It is I, the messenger of God." Ali's heart raced with excitement and fear. He had heard stories of angels appearing to people in the olden days, but he never thought he would experience it himself. "I have a special task for you, Ali," the voice continued. "You must go on a journey to find the tree of faith. It is a tree that grows in the heart of the forest, and its leaves are said to grant wishes to those who believe." Ali was both excited and nervous. He had never been on such a journey before, but he trusted in God's plan for him. With determination, he set out into the forest, guided only by the faint whisper of the wind. As Ali journeyed deeper into the forest, he encountered many challenges. He had to cross rushing rivers, climb steep hills, and navigate through dense undergrowth. But he never lost faith. Whenever he felt tired or scared, he would pray to God for strength and guidance. After many days of traveling, Ali finally reached the heart of the forest. There, standing tall and majestic, was the tree of faith. Its branches reached up to the sky, and its leaves shimmered in the sunlight. With trembling hands, Ali plucked a leaf from the tree and held it close to his heart. "Oh, great tree of faith," he prayed, "grant me the courage to face my fears and the wisdom to do what is right." Suddenly, a warm glow surrounded Ali, and he felt a sense of peace wash over him. He knew that his prayers had been answered. With newfound confidence, he returned to his village, carrying the precious leaf with him. When Ali reached home, he told his family and friends about his incredible journey and the miracle he had experienced. They were amazed and inspired by his story, and they too felt the power of faith in their hearts. From that day on, Ali's village became known for its strong belief in God and the miracles that could happen when one placed their trust in him. And Ali, now a wise and respected elder, continued to spread the message of faith and hope to all who would listen. In the end, Ali learned that true faith is not just about believing in something unseen, but also about trusting in God's plan and following the path He has laid out for us. And as long as we have faith in our hearts, miracles will always be possible. Thank you for watching this video. Once upon a time, in a quaint village nestled among towering mountains and sprawling meadows, there lived a young boy named Thomas. Thomas was known for his bright eyes and contagious laughter, but behind his cheerful facade, he carried the weight of several problems that seemed to overshadow his days. In the modest cottage where Thomas lived with his parents, life was far from easy. His father, Mr. Thompson, worked long hours as a carpenter, struggling to make ends meet. Thomas' mother, Mrs. Thompson, worked as a seamstress, but her earnings were meager, barely enough to cover the family's basic needs. Every morning, Thomas woke to the sound of his parents' hushed conversations. They spoke in worried tones about unpaid bills, dwindling food supplies, and the uncertainty of the future. Despite their best efforts to shield him from their troubles, Thomas sensed the tension that hung heavy in the air. One day, as Thomas was walking to school, he noticed a group of older children taunting a boy from his class named Peter. Peter, who wore thick glasses and walked with a slight limp, was an easy target for bullies. Thomas' heart sunk as he watched Peter's shoulders slump in defeat. Determined to help, Thomas approached the bullies and stood up for Peter. He told them to leave him alone and offered to walk to school with Peter every day. Grateful for the support, Peter smiled through his tears and accepted Thomas' offer. As they walked together, Peter shared his own problems with Thomas. He explained how he struggled in school because he couldn't see the blackboard clearly and how the other kids made fun of him for it. Thomas listened with empathy, realizing that everyone had their own battles to fight. At school, Thomas faced his own challenges. He was a diligent student, but he found it difficult to concentrate in class when his mind was filled with worries about his family's financial situation. Math, in particular, was a source of frustration for him. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't seem to grasp the concepts. One afternoon, Thomas stayed behind after school to ask his teacher, Miss Adams, for help with his math homework. He confessed his struggles and his fear of falling behind. Miss Adams smiled warmly and assured him that it was okay to ask for help. Together, they went through the problems step by step until Thomas understood them. Encouraged by Miss Adams' support, Thomas began to stay after school regularly for extra help. With her guidance and his own determination, he started to improve in math and gain confidence in himself. Despite his efforts to focus on his studies, Thomas couldn't shake the worry that weighed heavily on his heart. His family's financial troubles seemed to be getting worse, and he could see the toll it was taking on his parents. They worked tirelessly, but it never seemed to be enough. One evening, Thomas overheard his parents arguing in hushed tones. They spoke of mounting debts, overdue rent, and the looming threat of eviction. Tears welled up in Thomas' eyes as he realized the extent of their struggles. He felt helpless, unable to provide the solution they so desperately needed. But Thomas refused to give up hope. He remembered his grandfather's wise words, "In every problem, there is a solution waiting to be found." Determined to make a difference, Thomas brainstormed ways to help his family. He took on odd jobs around the village, mowing lawns, washing dishes, and running errands for neighbors. Every penny he earned went towards helping his parents, but it never seemed to be enough. One day, as Thomas was walking home from school, he stumbled upon a flyer advertising a local talent show. The grand prize was a substantial sum of money, enough to pay off his family's debts and secure their future. Excited by the possibility, Thomas rushed home to share the news with his parents. At first, they were hesitant. They worried that Thomas would be disappointed if he didn't win, and they couldn't bear to see him face another setback. But Thomas was determined. He reassured them that he had a plan and that he wouldn't give up without a fight. With his parents' reluctant blessing, Thomas threw himself into preparing for the talent show. He practiced his guitar every spare moment he had, honing his skills and perfecting his performance. Despite his nerves, he knew that this was his chance to make a difference for his family. The night of the talent show arrived, and the village hall buzzed with excitement. Thomas took a deep breath and stepped onto the stage, his heart pounding in his chest. As he strummed the first chords of his song, He poured his heart and soul into the music, channeling all of his hopes and fears into his performance. The audience fell silent as Thomas' voice filled the room, raw with emotion and filled with determination. When he finished his song, there wasn't a dry eye in the house. The applause was thunderous as Thomas took a bow, his cheeks flushed with pride. In the end, Thomas didn't win the grand prize. But he did win something far more valuable: the admiration and support of his community. Moved by his courage and resilience, the villagers came together to raise money for Thomas' family, ensuring that they would have a roof over their heads and food on the table. Overwhelmed with gratitude, Thomas hugged his parents tightly, tears of joy streaming down his face. In that moment, he realized that no problem was too big to overcome when faced with love, determination, and the support of those who cared. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, Thomas' family faced new challenges, but they faced them together, with a newfound sense of strength and unity. And as for Thomas, he knew that no matter what obstacles life threw his way, he would always find a way to rise above them, with a song in his heart and a smile on his face.
Title: The Seed of Wisdom. Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between rolling hills and lush forests, there lived a young boy named Kai. Kai was bright-eyed and curious, always eager to explore the world around him. He lived with his grandmother, Nanny, who was known throughout the village for her wisdom and kindness. One crisp autumn morning, as Kai was wandering through the forest, he stumbled upon a gnarled old tree with its branches laden with ripe, red apples. Mesmerized by the sight, Kai reached up to pluck one of the apples from the tree. But as he did, he noticed a tiny seed nestled within. Curiosity piqued, Kai took the seed and returned home to show Nanny. "What is this, Nanny?" he asked, holding up the seed for her to see. Nanny smiled knowingly. "That, my dear Kai, is the seed of a great tree. With care and patience, it has the potential to grow into something magnificent." Kai's eyes widened with wonder. He had never realized the potential that lay within such a small seed. Inspired by Nanny's words, he decided to plant the seed in their garden. Days turned into weeks and weeks into months. Kai tended to the seed diligently, watering it, ensuring it received plenty of sunlight, and protecting it from pests. At first, there were no visible signs of growth, and Kai began to lose hope. But Nanny encouraged him to be patient, reminding him that all great things take time. One day, as Kai was tending to the garden, he noticed a tiny sprout emerging from the soil where he had planted the seed. His heart leaped with joy as he realized that the seed was finally beginning to grow. Over the following months, the tiny sprout grew into a sapling, stretching its branches toward the sky. As the years passed, the sapling grew into a towering tree, its branches reaching high above the village rooftops. People from far and wide came to marvel at the magnificent tree, its branches heavy with fruit and its leaves rustling in the breeze. One day, a terrible storm swept through the village, bringing with it strong winds and pounding rain. The villagers huddled indoors, fearing for their safety. But Kai stood by the tree, his arms wrapped around its trunk, determined to protect it from harm. When the storm finally passed, the villagers emerged to find the tree still standing tall, its branches swaying but unbroken. They marveled at its resilience and strength, realizing that it had weathered many storms over the years. As Kai stood proudly beside the tree, Nanny approached him, her eyes shining with pride. "You see, Kai," she said, "just like this tree, we too must weather the storms of life with resilience and strength. But if we nurture the seeds of wisdom within us, we will always find the strength to endure." And so, Kai learned a valuable lesson that day, that with patience, perseverance, and a little bit of wisdom, anything is possible. As he looked up at the towering tree, he realized that he too had the potential to grow into something magnificent, just like the seed he had planted so long ago. Thank you so much for watching this video.
Once upon a time, in a small town nestled among rolling hills, there lived a young girl named Maya. Maya was a cheerful and optimistic child who always saw the bright side of life. She lived with her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Sharma, in a cozy little house at the edge of town. Maya's days were filled with laughter, play, and exploration. She loved nothing more than running through the fields, chasing butterflies, and listening to the birds sing. But one day, everything changed. It was a Monday morning, and Maya woke up feeling unwell. She had a fever, a runny nose, and a sore throat. She tried to get out of bed, but her body felt heavy and weak. Maya's parents rushed her to the doctor, who diagnosed her with the flu. Maya felt miserable as she lay in bed, unable to play or enjoy her favorite activities. Days passed, and Maya's condition didn't improve. She missed school, her friends, and the simple joys of everyday life. As the days turned into weeks, Maya's illness took a toll on her family too. Her parents worried about her health and struggled to balance taking care of her with their other responsibilities. The medical bills piled up, putting a strain on their finances. To make matters worse, Mr. Sharma lost his job unexpectedly, leaving the family facing financial uncertainty. With no income coming in, they struggled to make ends meet, and the stress weighed heavily on everyone. Maya felt guilty for causing her family so much trouble. She longed to be healthy again, to help her parents, and to return to her normal life. But the days dragged on, and her illness seemed never-ending. One day, as Maya lay in bed, feeling hopeless and defeated, she heard a knock on the door. It was Mrs. Gupta, their neighbor from down the street. Mrs. Gupta had brought over a pot of homemade soup and some comforting words for Maya and her family. Mrs. Gupta's kindness lifted Maya's spirits, reminding her that even in the darkest times, there are people who care and are willing to help. Maya realized that she wasn't alone and that her family would get through this difficult period together. Inspired by Mrs. Gupta's gesture, Maya decided to focus on the positive things in her life. Despite her illness and her family's struggles, she had a loving family, supportive friends, and a community that rallied around them in their time of need. Slowly but surely, Maya's health began to improve. With rest, medication, and the love of her family, she regained her strength and vitality. She returned to school, reunited with her friends, and resumed her favorite activities with a newfound appreciation for life's blessings. As Maya reflected on her bad days, she realized that they had taught her valuable lessons about resilience, gratitude, and the importance of kindness. She vowed to cherish every moment, even the difficult ones, and to always remember that even in the darkest times, there is hope. And so, with a heart full of gratitude and a renewed zest for life, Maya embraced each day with joy and optimism, knowing that even on the bad days, there is always light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you for watching.
Once upon a time, in a picturesque village nestled in the countryside, there lived a curious young girl named Emily. Emily had a deep fascination for learning new things, especially the English language. One sunny afternoon, while wandering through the village, Emily stumbled upon a dusty old book lying on the roadside. Intrigued, she picked it up and wiped away the dust. To her surprise, it was a book filled with captivating English stories. Excitedly, Emily decided to take the book home with her. Every day after completing her chores, Emily would sit by the window in her cozy room and immerse herself in the enchanting world of English stories. She started with simple tales about animals and nature, gradually advancing to more complex stories about brave heroes and magical adventures. As she read, Emily would underline unfamiliar words and expressions, eager to expand her vocabulary. She would then ask her family members for help with pronunciation and meanings, and they were always happy to assist her. One evening, while engrossed in a story about a courageous princess who saved her kingdom from an evil sorcerer, Emily encountered a word she didn't know, fearless. Determined to understand its meaning, she looked it up in her dictionary and learned that it meant brave and unafraid. Excited to add this new word to her vocabulary, Emily proudly wrote it down in her notebook. With each passing day, Emily's English skills improved. She could now read and understand more intricate stories, and she even started conversing in English with the travelers who passed through the village. One day, during a festive celebration in the village square, Emily spotted a group of English-speaking tourists. Remembering her passion for learning English, she eagerly approached them and struck up a conversation. To her delight, she found that she could communicate with them quite effectively. Impressed by Emily's determination and language skills, the tourists invited her to join them on their travels. Excited for a new adventure, Emily bid farewell to her village and embarked on a journey to explore the world beyond. As she traveled to distant lands, encountering diverse cultures and making friends from around the world, Emily realized that her love for learning English had opened up endless opportunities for her. And so, with courage in her heart and a thirst for knowledge, she continued her journey, forever grateful for the dusty old book that had ignited her passion for the English language. Thank you for watching this video. Please do like and subscribe my channel.
In a small town, there lived a young boy named Tim and his best friend, a dog named Bela. Tim and Bela were always together. They played in the fields, explored the forests, and swam in the nearby river. Bela was a loyal dog with shiny brown fur and bright, intelligent eyes. Tim loved Bela very much. One sunny morning, Tim and Bela decided to go on an adventure. They wanted to explore the old, mysterious forest at the edge of the town. Tim packed some food, water, and his favorite map in his backpack, and off they went. As they entered the forest, they heard the sound of birds singing and leaves rustling. The forest was cool and shady, and sunlight peeked through the leaves. Tim and Bela walked deeper and deeper into the forest, following a narrow path. After walking for a while, they found a small, sparkling stream. They stopped to drink some water and rest. Tim took out some bread and cheese from his backpack and shared it with Bela. They sat by the stream, enjoying the peaceful sounds of nature. Suddenly, they heard a soft cry. Tim and Bela looked around and saw a tiny, golden bird trapped in a bush. The bird's wing was hurt, and it couldn't fly. Tim carefully freed the bird from the bush and gently held it in his hands. Bela wagged her tail, happy to see the bird safe. The bird looked at Tim with grateful eyes and said, "Thank you for saving me. My name is Goldie. I live in the magical part of this forest. I can show you the way if you help me heal my wing." Tim was surprised to hear the bird talk but agreed to help. He made a small bandage for Goldie's wing using a piece of cloth from his backpack. Goldie rested on Tim's shoulder as they continued their journey. Goldie guided them through the forest, and soon they reached a beautiful, hidden meadow. The meadow was filled with colorful flowers, and there was a big, old tree in the middle. The tree had a door, and Goldie asked Tim to knock on it. Tim knocked on the door, and it slowly opened. Inside, they found a kind, old man named Mr. Greenleaf. He was the guardian of the magical forest. Mr. Greenleaf welcomed Tim and Bela and thanked them for helping Goldie. Mr. Greenleaf told them many stories about the magical forest. He showed them plants that could heal wounds, trees that could talk, and flowers that glowed in the dark. Tim and Bella were amazed by all the magic around them. Goldie's wing healed quickly, thanks to a special potion made by Mr. Greenleaf. Goldie was very happy and offered to take Tim and Bella on a tour of the magical forest. They saw animals that could talk, streams that sparkled like diamonds, and butterflies with wings like rainbows. After a wonderful day of exploring, it was time for Tim and Bella to go home. Goldie and Mr. Greenleaf gave them a small bag of magical seeds as a gift. These seeds could grow into plants that would remind them of their adventure. Tim and Bella thanked their new friends and promised to visit again. They followed Goldie back to the edge of the forest. As they walked back to their town, they felt happy and excited about their magical adventure. When they reached home, Tim planted the magical seeds in his garden. The seeds grew into beautiful plants with flowers that glowed in the moonlight. Tim and Bella's garden became the talk of the town, and everyone loved to hear the story of their adventure in the magical forest. From that day on, Tim and Bella continued to explore new places and have many more adventures. And so, Tim and Bella lived happily, always ready for the next adventure, knowing that magic and wonder were just around the corner. I hope you enjoyed this story and found it easy to understand. If you want to learn English, then the most important thing for you is reading. Reading will help you to speak English well. You are doing both reading and listening together, and if you get stuck while speaking English. So, it is not a big deal that big people, businessmen, actresses, actors. They also hesitate in speaking English. You have to think about everything in English and translate it. Then if you make a mistake, then it doesn't matter. This is the best way of speaking English.
In the picturesque town of Willowbrook, nestled amidst rolling hills and lush greenery, lived two souls destined to find each other amidst life's tapestry. Oliver, a young man with dreams as vast as the starlit sky, and Emily, an artist whose heart overflowed with the colors of the world, lived in separate corners of the town, yet their fates were entwined like the vines that adorned the old stone walls. Oliver, with his mop of unruly hair and glasses perched on his nose, was an aspiring writer. He spent his days lost in the worlds of his favorite authors, dreaming of the day his own stories would grace the shelves of bookstores. He frequented the local cafe, where he found solace in the aroma of freshly brewed coffee and the comforting hum of chatter around him. Emily, on the other hand, was a gentle soul whose passion lay in capturing the beauty of the world with her paintbrush. Her cottage, nestled amidst a riot of blooming roses, was a sanctuary of creativity and inspiration. She spent her days wandering through meadows and along babbling brooks, sketching the wonders of nature that surrounded her. It was on a bright spring day that their paths finally crossed. Oliver sat in his usual spot at the cafe, a tattered notebook in hand, scribbling down ideas for his next story. Emily, seeking respite from the chaos of her thoughts, wandered into the cafe in search of a quiet corner to sketch. Their eyes met across the room, and in that moment, the world seemed to stand still. Oliver was captivated by the warmth of Emily's smile, while Emily found herself drawn to the spark of creativity that danced in Oliver's eyes. With a shy smile, Oliver approached her, and thus began their journey together. They spent hours lost in conversation, sharing their dreams, fears, and passions. Oliver introduced Emily to the worlds of his favorite authors, while Emily opened Oliver's eyes to the beauty of art and nature. They explored the town together, discovering hidden gems and creating memories that would last a lifetime. But as their love blossomed, so too did the challenges they faced. Oliver's dedication to his writing often left Emily feeling neglected, while Emily's insecurities sometimes led her to doubt whether she was truly deserving of Oliver's love. Despite these obstacles, their bond only grew stronger with each passing day. One evening, as they strolled hand in hand through the town square, Oliver stopped beneath a canopy of twinkling fairy lights and dropped to one knee. With tears of joy in his eyes, he declared his love for Emily and asked her to be his forever. Overwhelmed with emotion, Emily threw her arms around him and whispered her heartfelt yes. Their wedding day was a celebration of love and unity, with the entire town coming together to witness the union of two souls destined for each other. Beneath a sky ablaze with stars, Oliver and Emily exchanged vows of love and devotion, promising to stand by each other's side through thick and thin. As they embarked on the journey of marriage, Oliver and Emily faced new challenges together, navigating the complexities of life with unwavering support and unconditional love. They celebrated each other's successes, comforted each other in times of sorrow, and grew closer with each passing day. Years turned into decades, yet their love remained as strong as ever. They watched with pride as their children grew and flourished, building their own lives and families. And as they grew old together, hand in hand, they knew that their love was a gift, a rare and precious treasure that had stood the test of time. And so, in the small town of Willowbrook, Oliver and Emily's love story became a legend, passed down through generations as a reminder of the enduring power of love. For anyone who doubted its existence, theirs was a testament to its beauty and resilience, a love story for the ages. In the bustling city of Riverside, the Smith family lived in a cozy house on Maple Street. The family consisted of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, their three children Emma, Michael, and Lily, and their fluffy cat, Whiskers. Every morning, the Smith household buzzed with activity as everyone got ready for the day. Mrs. Smith would prepare breakfast while Mr. Smith helped the kids with their school bags. Emma, the eldest, was responsible and always made sure her younger siblings were ready on time. Michael, the middle child, was full of energy and constantly kept everyone entertained with his jokes and antics. Lily, the youngest, was the apple of everyone's eye, with her infectious laughter and boundless curiosity. Despite their busy schedules, the Smiths made it a point to spend quality time together. On weekends, they would go for picnics in the park, visit the local museum, or have movie nights at home with homemade popcorn. One Saturday morning, the family decided to go on a hiking trip to Pine Ridge Trail. They packed sandwiches, fruit, and plenty of water, excited for a day of adventure in the great outdoors. Whiskers, their curious cat, watched from the window as they loaded up the car. The hike started off smoothly, with the family chatting and laughing as they followed the trail deeper into the forest. Emma took the lead, holding Lily's hand to make sure she didn't trip on any roots or rocks. Michael skipped ahead, eager to explore every nook and cranny of the wilderness. As they walked, Mrs. Smith pointed out different plants and animals, teaching the children about the wonders of nature. Mr. Smith led the way, a map in hand, ensuring they stayed on the right path. Suddenly, dark clouds rolled in, and thunder rumbled in the distance. The family quickened their pace, hoping to reach a shelter before the rain started pouring down. But before they could find refuge, the sky opened up, drenching them in a downpour. With no shelter in sight, the Smiths huddled together under a large tree, trying to stay dry. Lily giggled as raindrops splattered on her nose, while Michael pretended to be a superhero, shielding his family from the storm. Emma wrapped her arms around her siblings, comforting them as lightning streaked across the sky. After what felt like hours, the rain finally stopped, and the family emerged from under the tree, soaked but unharmed. They continued their hike, squelching through muddy trails and laughing at their misadventure. When they finally reached the end of the trail, the sun broke through the clouds, casting a golden glow over the landscape. The Smiths stood at the edge of a cliff, marveling at the breathtaking view of the valley below.
Interviewer, Mr. Smith. Good morning, Jane. Thank you for coming in today. Jane. Good morning, Mr. Smith. Thank you for having me. Mr. Smith, let's start with you telling me a little about yourself and your background. Jane. Sure. I recently graduated from Greenfield University with a degree in business administration. During my studies, I worked part-time as a cashier at a local supermarket, where I gained experience in customer service and managing transactions. I'm very interested in retail and sales, and I'm excited about the opportunity to work here. Mr. Smith, that sounds like a solid background. Can you tell me more about your experience at the supermarket? What were your main responsibilities? Jane. Of course. As a cashier, I handled cash transactions, processed credit card payments, and assisted customers with their purchases. I also helped with stocking shelves and keeping the store organized. Additionally, I provided customer service by answering questions and resolving any issues they had. Mr. Smith. Great. How did you handle difficult customers or challenging situations? Jane. I always stayed calm and listened to the customer's concerns. For example, if a customer was unhappy with a product, I would apologize for the inconvenience and offer a solution, such as a refund or exchange. I found that being patient and understanding usually helped to resolve the issue quickly and maintain a positive relationship with the customer. Mr. Smith. Excellent. Here, customer service is a top priority. How do you manage your time when you have multiple tasks to complete? Jane. I prioritize my tasks based on their urgency and importance. For instance, if I have a line of customers waiting, I focus on assisting them first. After that, I move on to restocking or other tasks that need attention. I always try to stay organized and keep a checklist to ensure nothing is overlooked. Mr. Smith, that sounds like a good approach. Can you tell me why you are interested in this position specifically? Jane. I am passionate about working in retail and enjoy interacting with customers. I believe that your store has a great reputation for quality products and excellent customer service. I am eager to contribute to your team and help maintain those high standards. Mr. Smith, we are glad to hear that. Do you have any experience with sales or promotional activities? Jane. Yes, I do. During my time at the supermarket, I was involved in promoting special offers and new products to customers. I would inform them about discounts and suggest complimentary items to increase sales. I enjoyed finding ways to enhance the customer's shopping experience and boost sales for the store. Mr. Smith, that's valuable experience. This position requires flexibility in working hours. Are you available to work weekends and evenings? Jen, yes, I am flexible with my schedule and can work weekends and evenings as needed. Mr. Smith, great to hear. Lastly, do you have any questions for me about the position or the company? Jane, yes, I do. Can you tell me more about the team I would be working with? Mr. Smith, absolutely. You would be part of a dynamic team of about 10 people. Everyone works closely together to ensure the store runs smoothly. We value teamwork and communication, and we have regular meetings to discuss our goals and any challenges we face. Jane, that sounds wonderful. I'm excited about the opportunity to be part of such a team. What are the next steps in the hiring process? Mr. Smith, the next step is for us to review all the candidates. If you are selected, we will contact you within a week to schedule a second interview. After that, we will make our final decision. Jen, thank you, Mr. Smith. I appreciate the opportunity to interview for this position. Mr. Smith, thank you for coming in, Jen. We will be in touch soon. Have a great day. Jane, you too. Goodbye. Mr. Smith, goodbye.
Once upon a time, in a small village nestled among lush green hills, there lived a humble farmer named David. David was known throughout the village for his hard work, honesty, and kindness. Despite facing numerous challenges in life, he always remained grateful for what he had and never complained. One sunny morning, as David was tending to his crops, he noticed something shimmering amidst the rows of corn. Curious, he walked closer and discovered a small, intricately carved wooden box. With trembling hands, he opened it to find a beautiful golden key nestled inside. Intrigued by this unexpected discovery, David picked up the key and examined it closely. There was an inscription on the key that read, "The gift of God." David couldn't believe his luck. He wondered what this mysterious gift could be and why it had come to him. Filled with excitement and anticipation, he decided to seek guidance from the village elder, wise old Mr. Thomas. Mr. Thomas listened attentively to David's story and examined the key thoughtfully. After a moment of silence, he said, "David, this key is indeed a special gift. But remember, the true gift of God lies not in material possessions, but in the virtues it represents." David nodded, understanding dawning on him. He thanked Mr. Thomas and left, determined to discover the true meaning behind his gift. Days turned into weeks, and David pondered over Mr. Thomas' words as he went about his daily routine. He made a conscious effort to practice patience, kindness, compassion, and gratitude in everything he did. One day, while David was walking through the village market, he noticed an elderly woman struggling to carry her heavy basket of groceries. Without hesitation, David rushed to her aid and offered to help her carry the load to her home. Grateful for his assistance, the old woman thanked David profusely and insisted on inviting him in for tea. As they sat together, she shared stories of her life, her joys, and her sorrows. Moved by her kindness and wisdom, David realized that true wealth lay not in possessions, but in the connections we forge with others and the love we share. As he bid the old woman farewell and continued on his way, David felt a sense of fulfillment wash over him. He understood now that the key he had found was not a physical object, but a symbol of the values he held dear. With newfound purpose, David dedicated himself to helping others in any way he could. He volunteered at the village school, teaching children to read and write. He assisted his neighbors with their chores and offered a listening ear to those in need. Word of David's selfless deeds spread throughout the village, and soon he became known as the embodiment of the gift of God. But for David, the greatest reward was not the praise or recognition, but the joy he found in making a positive difference in the lives of others. Years passed, and David grew old, but his spirit remained as vibrant as ever. On his deathbed, surrounded by loved ones, he reflected on his life with a heart full of gratitude. As he closed his eyes for the final time, David knew that the true gift of God was not something to be found in a wooden box or a golden key, but in the simple acts of love, kindness, and compassion that he had shared with the world. And in that realization, he found peace. Thank you for watching this video. Do like and subscribe. Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between rolling green hills, lived a little girl named Maya. Maya had a bright smile that could light up the darkest of days. She loved playing with her friends, climbing trees, and exploring the fields around her home. But what made Maya truly special was her ability to find happiness in the simplest things. One sunny morning, Maya woke up with excitement. It was the day of the village fair, an event that happened once a year. She quickly dressed and ran to the kitchen where her mother was preparing breakfast. "Good morning, Mama," she chirped. "I can't wait for the fair." Her mother smiled and handed her a warm piece of bread with honey. "Good morning, my little sunshine. Eat your breakfast and we'll head to the fair soon." As Maya and her mother walked to the village square, they were greeted by the cheerful sounds of laughter and music. Stalls lined the streets, offering colorful sweets, toys, and games. Maya's eyes sparkled with delight as she took in all the sights and sounds. The first stall they visited was run by Mr. Patel, the village toymaker. He had crafted beautiful wooden toys, and Maya's attention was caught by a small, carved bird. "Isn't it lovely, Mama?" she asked, admiring the intricate details. Mr. Patel saw her interest and said, "Would you like to see it fly, Maya?" He wound up the bird and set it free. It flapped its wings and soared into the air before gently landing back in his hand. Maya clapped with joy. "That's amazing, Mr. Patel." As they moved on, they came across a group of children playing a game of tug-of-war. Maya eagerly joined in, her laughter ringing out as she pulled with all her might. Although her team didn't win, Maya didn't mind. The fun was in playing together. Next, they visited the food stalls. Maya's mother bought her a sweet, sticky candy apple. With each bite, Maya's face lit up with happiness. She shared bites with her mother, enjoying the treat together. As the day turned to evening, the villagers gathered for a storytelling session around a large bonfire. An old woman named Grandma Leela began to tell a story about a magical forest where the trees could talk and animals danced. Maya listened with wide eyes, completely captivated by the tale. When the story ended, it was time for the lantern release. Everyone in the village had made a lantern, and now they would let them float into the night sky. Maya and her mother lit their lantern, and as it rose into the air, Maya made a wish. She didn't wish for toys or sweets, she wished for every day to be as happy as this one. As they walked home, hand in hand, Maya's heart was full. She realized that happiness wasn't just in the big events or the special days. It was in the laughter shared with friends, the stories told by firelight, and the simple joy of spending time with her mother. And with that thought, she knew her wish had already come true. And so, in the little village between the hills, Maya continued to find happiness in every moment, sharing her bright smile with everyone she met. Thank you for watching. In the peaceful village of Greenfield, nestled between rolling hills and dense forests, there lived a man named Thomas. Thomas was a solitary figure, residing in a quaint cottage at the edge of the village. He spent his days tending to his garden, reading books, and taking long walks through the countryside. Despite the natural beauty that surrounded him, Thomas often felt a deep sense of loneliness. Thomas had lived alone for many years, ever since the passing of his beloved wife, Sarah. While he cherished the memories they had shared, the emptiness in his heart remained. He longed for companionship, someone to share his joys and sorrows, his hopes and dreams. One crisp autumn morning, while wandering through the woods near his cottage, Thomas stumbled upon a wounded bird. Its wing was tangled in a thorny bush, and it chirped feebly in distress. Moved by compassion, Thomas carefully freed the bird and cradled it gently in his hands. Bringing the bird back to his cottage, Thomas fashioned a small nest from twigs and leaves, placing it by the window where the warm sunlight streamed in. He tended to the bird's injuries, feeding it and keeping it safe from harm. As days turned into weeks, the bird, whom Thomas named Robin, grew stronger under his care. It would flutter around the cottage, perching on Thomas' shoulder as he worked in the garden or read by the fire. With Robin by his side, Thomas found solace in the company of this small, feathered friend. Together, Thomas and Robin explored the countryside, their bond deepening with each passing day. They ventured into the forest, where Thomas shared stories of his travels and Robin listened intently, chirping in response. They wandered through meadows ablaze with wildflowers, their laughter mingling with the rustle of the breeze. Through their adventures, Thomas learned to appreciate the simple pleasures of life once again. He discovered that companionship could come in unexpected forms and that even the smallest of creatures could fill the void in his heart. As the seasons changed, Thomas and Robin encountered other animals in their travels. They met a wise old owl perched high in a gnarled oak tree, who shared tales of wisdom and ancient lore. They befriended a playful squirrel who darted among the branches, collecting acorns and sharing them with Thomas and Robin alike. And they encountered a gentle deer grazing in a sun-dappled glade, its eyes reflecting the serenity of the forest. With each encounter, Thomas' loneliness diminished, replaced by a sense of belonging and connection to the natural world around him. He realized that he was never truly alone as long as he had Robin by his side. Years passed, and Thomas and Robin grew old together, their bond unbreakable. They shared many more adventures, their friendship deepening with each passing season. And though Thomas' cottage remained small, his heart was full, for he had found the companionship he had longed for in Robin. As they watched the sun set over the horizon one evening, Thomas whispered, "Thank you for being my friend, Robin. I am grateful for the joy you have brought into my life." Robin chirped softly in response, its eyes twinkling with affection. In that moment, surrounded by the beauty of the countryside, Thomas knew that he had found his home, his sanctuary, and his forever friend. And together, they lived happily ever after, in the heart of Greenfield, where their story began. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe this channel. Once upon a time, in a lush green forest, there lived a colony of ants. Among them was a young ant named Andy. He was known for his diligence and hard work. From dawn till dusk, Andy would tirelessly collect food for the colony. One bright morning, as Andy set out on his daily routine, he noticed a cluster of ripe berries hanging from a nearby bush. Determined to gather as much food as possible for his fellow ants, Andy decided to collect the berries. But it wasn't going to be an easy task. The berries were high up, and Andy knew he would have to climb the bush to reach them. Undeterred by the challenge, Andy began his ascent. He climbed and climbed, using all his strength and determination. Every time he slipped or stumbled, he picked himself up and continued climbing. After what seemed like hours, Andy finally reached the top of the bush. With great effort, he started plucking the berries one by one and carefully storing them in his pouch. As he worked, Andy heard a faint voice calling out to him from below. Looking down, he saw his friend, Ella, another hard-working ant from the colony. "Andy, what are you doing up there?" she called. "I'm gathering berries for the colony," Andy replied, smiling. Ella looked up at him in amazement. "You climbed all the way up there by yourself? That's incredible." Andy shrugged modestly. "It's just hard work and determination. Anyone can do it if they put their mind to it." With that, Andy continued his task until his pouch was full. He carefully descended from the bush and made his way back to the colony, where he shared his bountiful harvest with his fellow ants. News of Andy's feat spread quickly throughout the colony, and soon he became a hero among his fellow ants. They admired his hard work and determination, and many of them sought his advice on how to overcome challenges. But Andy remained humble, always reminding his friends that success comes from perseverance and dedication. He continued to work hard every day, setting an example for others to follow. One day, as Andy was out foraging, he encountered a fallen tree blocking the path back to the colony. Determined to find a way around it, Andy surveyed the area until he found a narrow gap between the roots. It was a tight squeeze, but Andy squeezed through, pushing and pulling until he finally emerged on the other side. His fellow ants watched in awe as Andy returned to the colony, his pouch filled with food once again. They marveled at his perseverance and determination in the face of obstacles. From that day on, Andy's legend grew even more, and he became known as the ant who never gave up. His story inspired generations of ants to work hard and never lose hope, no matter how difficult the journey may seem. And so, the tale of the diligent ant, Andy, became a symbol of hard work and perseverance for all who heard it in the forest, teaching them that with determination and dedication, anything is possible. Thank you for watching this video.
Once upon a time, in a quaint little town nestled deep within the woods, there stood an old, abandoned mansion. The locals whispered tales of its dark history, of the tragic family who once inhabited its halls. Many claimed the mansion was haunted by their restless spirits, but few dared to venture inside to uncover the truth. Among the brave few was a group of friends: Sarah, the adventurous one, Jack, the skeptic, Emily, the curious soul, and Michael, the thrill-seeker. They decided to spend a night in the mansion, eager to explore its mysteries. As they entered the mansion, a chill ran down their spines. The air was thick with dust, and cobwebs adorned the decaying walls. Sarah led the way, her flashlight cutting through the darkness as they wandered deeper into the heart of the mansion. Their footsteps echoed eerily as they explored room after room. In the dining hall, they found a table set for a long-forgotten feast, covered in rotting food. Emily shivered, feeling as though unseen eyes were watching their every move. Jack scoffed at their unease, dismissing it as nothing more than superstition. But his bravado waned when they stumbled upon a hidden staircase leading down into the depths of the mansion. Against their better judgment, they descended into the darkness below. The air grew colder, and the sound of dripping water echoed through the narrow passageways. Michael's heart raced with excitement, while Emily's fear threatened to consume her. They soon reached a series of winding tunnels, each more ominous than the last. Sarah led the way, her determination masking her growing unease. Suddenly they heard a faint whispering, like the voices of the long dead echoing through the darkness. Panic set in as they realized they were lost in the labyrinthine tunnels. Every turn seemed to lead them deeper into the heart of darkness, and the whispers grew louder with each step they took. Jack's skepticism wavered, replaced by a primal fear that gripped them all. Hours passed, and exhaustion threatened to overtake them. Just when they feared they would never escape, they stumbled upon a chamber unlike any they had seen before. The walls were adorned with strange symbols, and an ancient altar stood at its center. As they approached, a sense of dread washed over them. They were not alone in the chamber. Something sinister lurked in the shadows, its presence palpable in the air. Emily's blood ran cold as she realized the truth. The mansion was not haunted by ghosts, but by something far more malevolent. With a deafening roar, the creature emerged from the darkness, its twisted form illuminated by their flickering flashlights. It was a grotesque abomination, part human, part monster, with glowing eyes that burned with malice. Terrified, they fled, their screams echoing through the tunnels as they ran for their lives. But the creature was relentless, its monstrous form pursuing them with unholy speed. In their panic, they became separated, each one forced to face the horrors of the mansion alone. Sarah stumbled through the darkness, her heart pounding in her chest. She could hear the creature's footsteps echoing behind her, drawing closer with every passing second. With nowhere left to run, she found herself cornered in a dimly lit chamber. As the creature closed in, Sarah's mind raced with thoughts of her friends, lost somewhere in the labyrinthine tunnels. Desperate to survive, she grabbed the nearest object, a rusted pipe, and prepared to fight for her life. But before she could strike, a blinding light filled the chamber, banishing the darkness and revealing the true nature of the creature. It was not a monster, but the tortured spirit of the mansion's former owner, trapped between the realms of the living and the dead. With a mournful wail, the spirit vanished, leaving Sarah alone in the darkness. She emerged from the mansion, shaken but alive, to find her friends waiting for her outside. Together they vowed never to return to the haunted mansion again, their brush with death serving as a reminder of the horrors that lurked within its walls. And so, the old mansion remained abandoned, its dark secrets buried beneath layers of dust and decay, a warning to all who dared to seek the truth in the realm of the supernatural.
In the bustling streets of London, amidst the flurry of everyday life, there was a quaint bookstore tucked away in a corner. Its shelves were lined with books of all kinds, from classic novels to contemporary bestsellers. And within its walls, a love story unfolded, one that was both beautiful and tragic. The owner of the bookstore, Mr. Thompson, was a gentle soul with a passion for literature. He spent his days surrounded by books, finding solace in their stories. But there was a sadness in his eyes, a longing for something he had lost many years ago. One rainy afternoon, a young woman named Emily stumbled upon the bookstore while seeking shelter from the downpour. She was immediately drawn to the cozy atmosphere and the smell of old books. As she browsed the shelves, her eyes fell upon a dusty old volume tucked away in a corner. Curious, Emily pulled out the book and blew off the dust. It was a collection of love letters dated from the early 1900s. Intrigued, she began to read, losing herself in the words of passion and longing. Unbeknownst to Emily, those letters were written by Mr. Thompson's grandparents, Arthur and Eleanor, who had once owned the bookstore together. Their love story was one for the ages, filled with joy and heartache. Arthur was a struggling writer, and Eleanor was the daughter of a wealthy businessman. Despite their differences in social status, they fell deeply in love. But their happiness was short-lived, as World War I tore them apart. Arthur was drafted into the army, leaving Eleanor behind. They exchanged letters faithfully, pouring out their hearts on paper. But as the war dragged on, their correspondence became less frequent, and eventually, it stopped altogether. Ilyena never gave up hope of reuniting with Arthur, but as the years passed, she realized that he was never coming back. Heartbroken, she threw herself into running the bookstore, clinging to the memories of their love. As Emily read through the letters, she couldn't help but feel a pang of sadness for the lost love between Arthur and Ilyena. She wondered what had happened to them, and if their love had endured through the years. Intrigued by the story, Emily approached Mr. Thompson and asked him about the letters. At first, he was hesitant to share the details of his family's past, but eventually, he opened up to her. As Mr. Thompson recounted the tale of Arthur and Ilyena, Emily felt a connection to their love story. She, too, had experienced heartache in her own life, and she understood the pain of losing someone you love. Determined to uncover the truth about Arthur and Ilyena's fate, Emily delved deeper into the history of the bookstore. She combed through old newspapers and archives, piecing together clues about what had happened to them after the war. Her efforts paid off when she stumbled upon a faded photograph of Arthur and Ilyena, taken on the day he left for the front lines. In the background of the photo, Emily noticed a familiar landmark, a statue in a nearby park. With renewed determination, Emily set out to find the statue, hoping it would lead her to the answers she sought. And indeed, after hours of searching, she discovered the statue tucked away in a secluded corner of the park. But what she found there was not what she expected. Beneath the statue was a small plaque with the inscription, "In loving memory of Arthur Thompson, who gave his life for his country during the Great War." Tears filled Emily's eyes as she realized the truth. Arthur had died in battle, leaving behind a grieving widow and a legacy of love that had endured through the years. With a heavy heart, Emily returned to the bookstore to share her findings with Mr. Thompson. Together, they sat in silence, honoring the memory of Arthur and Ilyena and the love that had bound them together. As the years passed, the story of Arthur and Ilyena became a legend in the neighborhood. And though they were long gone, their love lived on in the hearts of those who knew their tale. And so, in the quiet corners of the bookstore, amidst the pages of old books and forgotten letters, the memory of lost love remained, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, love endures. Thank you for watching this video. Once upon a time, there lived a crow in a forest. He was very happy because he did not have many desires. He was satisfied with his life, but once he saw a swan in the forest, and on seeing it, he started thinking how beautiful this creature is. I have never seen such a creature before. So clean and white. It is much whiter and more beautiful than others in this forest, so it must be very happy. The crow went to the swan and asked, "Brother, you are so beautiful, that's why you must be very happy?" The swan replied, "Yes, I used to be very happy before, until I saw the parrot. After seeing him, I feel that the parrot is the most beautiful creature on earth. Both of us have the same body color, but the parrot has two colors on its body. It had a red circle around its neck and it was of bright green color. Really, it was very beautiful." Now the crow thought that the swan is saying that the parrot is the most beautiful, so he will have to see it. The crow went to the parrot and asked, "Brother, you will be very happy to get two colors?" The parrot said, "Yes, I was happy until I saw the peacock. I have only two colors, but the peacock has many colors on its body." Now the crow thought that he will find out who is the happiest. So now he will have to meet the peacock. The crow searched for the peacock in the jungle, but he could not find a single peacock in the whole jungle, and while searching for the peacock he reached the zoo, where he saw that many people had come to see the peacock and there was a huge crowd around him. After everyone left, the crow asked the peacock, "Brother, you are the most beautiful creature in the world and you are colorful. People were taking pictures with you. You must be enjoying it a lot and you must be the happiest creature in the world." On this, the peacock said sadly, "Brother, what difference does it make if I am beautiful? People keep me captive in this zoo, but no one keeps you captive in a zoo and you can roam around wherever you want. That is why you must be the most satisfied and happy creature in the world because you are free." The crow was surprised because someone else told him the importance of his life. Friends, we also do the same. We compare our happiness and qualities with others, with people whose living environment is completely different from ours. There are many things in our life that only we have, but we are not happy by understanding its importance. But even the small happiness of others seems big to us, while we ignore our big happiness. Thank you for watching this video. Once upon a time, in the heart of a small town nestled between rolling hills and lush green fields, there stood a quaint little school named Sunnydale School. With its vibrant red bricks and cheerful playground, it was a place where laughter filled the air and learning was an adventure. On a bright Monday morning, the school bell chimed, signaling the start of another exciting day. In Mrs. Thompson's fifth grade class sat a boy named Sam. With his unruly mop of curly hair and eyes sparkling with mischief, Sam was known for his insatiable curiosity and boundless imagination. As Mrs. Thompson began her lesson on geography, Sam's mind wandered to the upcoming school fair. It was the talk of the town, and excitement buzzed through the corridors like bees in a summer garden. Each year, the school organized a grand fair to raise funds for charity, and this year was no exception. "Class," Mrs. Thompson announced, interrupting Sam's daydreams, "I have some exciting news. This year, we'll be organizing the biggest school fair yet, and I want each of you to come up with ideas for stalls and games." Sam's eyes lit up with excitement. This was his chance to shine. With a flurry of activity, the class began brainstorming ideas. Sam suggested a variety of stalls, from a dunk tank to a petting zoo. His classmates were impressed by his creativity, and soon, the ideas were pouring in. After much deliberation, the class settled on a theme: a day at the carnival. They would have game stalls, food stalls, a talent show, and even a fortune-telling booth. The school fair was going to be a spectacle to remember. Over the next few weeks, the school buzzed with activity as students and teachers worked tirelessly to bring their vision to life. Sam found himself immersed in the preparations, spending every spare moment designing games and painting signs. As the big day drew near, anticipation reached a fever pitch. The school grounds were transformed into a riot of colors, with banners fluttering in the breeze and stalls taking shape. Sam's game stall, Ring Toss Royal, was the talk of the town, with its colorful array of prizes and challenging rings. Finally, the day of the fair arrived. The sun shone brightly in the sky, casting a warm glow over the bustling crowds. Families and friends streamed into the school grounds, eager to experience the magic of the carnival. Sam's heart swelled with pride as he watched the crowds flock to his stall. Children lined up eagerly, clutching handfuls of tickets in anticipation of winning a prize. With a grin plastered on his face, Sam demonstrated the art of ring tossing, cheering on each participant with infectious enthusiasm. Meanwhile, the food stalls wafted mouth-watering aromas of cotton candy, popcorn, and sizzling hot dogs. The talent show stage was alive with music and laughter as students showcased their hidden talents, from singing and dancing to magic tricks and juggling. As the day wore on, the school fair reached its crescendo. Laughter echoed across the grounds, mingling with the sound of merry-go-round music and the clinking of coins. Parents cheered on their children, and friends reveled in each other's company. As the sun began to set on the horizon, casting a golden glow over the school, Sam took a moment to reflect on the day's events. The school fair had been a resounding success, raising more money than ever before for charity. But more than that, It had brought the community together in a way that Sam had never imagined possible. As the last of the visitors bid farewell and the stalls were dismantled, Sam felt a sense of pride wash over him. The memories of the school fair would linger for years to come, a testament to the power of teamwork, creativity, and community spirit. And as he walked home, hand in hand with his friends, Sam knew that no matter where life took him, he would always cherish the sunny days and carnival dreams of Sunnydale School. Thank you for watching this video.
Once upon a time, in a quaint little town nestled between rolling hills and lush green forests, there lived a girl named Sarah. Sarah was a quiet and reserved girl who found solace in the pages of her beloved books. She had always been content with her solitary pursuits until one fateful day when she met Alex, a charming boy who would change her life forever. It was a bright and sunny afternoon when Sarah decided to take a walk in the park near her house. As she strolled along the winding paths, she noticed a group of boys playing soccer in the distance. Among them was Alex, a boy with tousled brown hair and a warm smile that made Sarah's heart flutter. As Sarah watched from afar, she couldn't help but feel drawn to Alex's infectious energy and magnetic personality. Before she knew it, their eyes met, and Alex flashed her a grin that sent shivers down her spine. Embarrassed by her sudden infatuation, Sarah quickly looked away and hurried home. But the memory of Alex's smile lingered in her mind, filling her with a strange sense of excitement and anticipation. The next day, Sarah found herself back at the park, hoping to catch another glimpse of Alex. To her delight, he was there again, laughing and joking with his friends. This time, Sarah summoned the courage to approach him. "Hi," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Hey there," Alex replied, flashing her that same dazzling smile. And just like that, a friendship was born. Sarah and Alex spent hours talking and laughing together, sharing their hopes, dreams, and secrets. Sarah couldn't believe how easy it was to open up to him, how he seemed to understand her in a way that no one else ever had. As days turned into weeks, Sarah found herself falling for Alex more and more with each passing moment. She loved the way he made her laugh, the way he listened to her with genuine interest, and the way his eyes sparkled when he talked about his passions. But as Sarah's feelings for Alex grew stronger, so did her insecurities. She couldn't shake the nagging doubt that someone as popular and outgoing as Alex could never be interested in someone like her. She was just a quiet bookworm, while he was the life of the party, surrounded by friends wherever he went. Despite her fears, Sarah couldn't deny the connection between them. And one day, as they sat together on a bench overlooking the lake, she mustered up the courage to confess her feelings to Alex. "Alex, there's something I need to tell you," she said, her heart pounding in her chest. I think I'm in love with you." For a moment, there was silence as Alex stared at her, his expression unreadable. Sarah braced herself for rejection, her heart sinking with each passing second. But then, to her surprise and joy, Alex took her hand in his and smiled. "Sarah, I've been waiting for you to say that," he said softly. "I love you too." And in that moment, all of Sarah's fears melted away as she realized that her feelings were reciprocated. They shared a sweet and tender kiss, sealing their love for each other beneath the golden rays of the setting sun. From that day forward, Sarah and Alex were inseparable. They spent every moment they could together, exploring the town, going on adventures, and simply enjoying each other's company. But as the seasons changed and summer turned to fall, their happiness was tested by the harsh reality of life. Alex's family announced that they were moving to a different town, miles away from Sarah's home. Sarah was devastated by the news, knowing that their time together was limited. But Alex reassured her that their love would endure, no matter the distance. And so, they made the most of their remaining days together, cherishing every moment as if it were their last. They watched the sunset from their favorite spot in the park, danced in the rain, and whispered promises of forever into each other's ears. But when the day finally came for Alex to leave, Sarah felt as though her world was crumbling around her. She clung to him desperately, tears streaming down her face as she struggled to let him go. "I'll come back for you, Sarah," Alex promised, his voice choked with emotion. "I'll never forget you, I promise." And with one final kiss, Alex boarded the bus, leaving Sarah standing alone on the sidewalk, her heart breaking into a million pieces. For weeks, Sarah was consumed by sadness, unable to imagine a life without Alex by her side. But as time passed, she found solace in the memories they had shared and the love they had experienced together. Years went by, and Sarah never forgot Alex. She often wondered what he was doing, where he was living, and if he ever thought of her the way she thought of him. Then, one day, as she was browsing the shelves of her local bookstore, a familiar name caught her eye. It was Alex, the author of a best-selling novel that had captured the hearts of readers around the world. Overwhelmed with emotion, Sarah bought the book and rushed home to read it. As she turned the pages, she saw echoes of their love story woven into the narrative, reminding her of the bond they had shared so long ago. With tears in her eyes, Sarah closed the book and smiled. Though they were miles apart, she knew that their love would always connect them, transcending time and space. And as she looked out the window at the setting sun, she whispered a silent promise to herself and to Alex, wherever he may be. "I'll never forget you, Alex. You'll always be my first love." Thank you for watching this video.
Check-in. Guest, good afternoon. I have a reservation under the name Smith. Receptionist, good afternoon, Mr. Smith. Welcome to our hotel. May I see your ID and credit card, please? Guest, of course, here they are. Receptionist, excellent. Your room number is 405. Here is your key card. Breakfast is served in the dining area from 7 to 10 a.m. The gym and pool are on the second floor and are open from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Do you have any other questions? Guest, yes. Do you have Wi-Fi? Receptionist, yes, we do. The network name is Hotel Wi-Fi and the password is Welcome 2024. Guest, great, thank you. Also, is there a restaurant in the hotel? Receptionist, yes, our restaurant is open from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Room service is also available 24/7. Guest, perfect, thank you for the information. Receptionist, you're welcome. Enjoy your stay. Asking for amenities. Guest, hi, this is room 405. Could I get some extra towels, please? Receptionist, of course, Mr. Smith. I will send housekeeping up with extra towels right away. Guest, thank you. Also, is there a laundry service available? Receptionist, yes, we offer laundry service. There's a laundry bag and price list in your closet. If you leave your laundry in the bag and call the front desk, we'll pick it up. It will be returned to your room within 24 hours. Guest, that's perfect. Thanks for your help. Receptionist, my pleasure. Have a great day. Asking about local attractions. Guest, hi, I was wondering if you could recommend any local attractions. Receptionist, certainly. We are close to the City Museum, which is just a 10-minute walk from here. There's also a beautiful park nearby if you enjoy outdoor activities. If you're interested in shopping, the downtown area has many unique shops and cafes. Guest, that sounds great. How do I get to the museum? Receptionist, when you exit the hotel, turn left and walk straight for about 10 minutes. You'll see the museum on your right. Guest, thanks. One more thing, are there any good restaurants nearby? Receptionist, yes, there are several. If you like Italian food, Luigi's is just around the corner. For something more casual, the bistro offers a variety of local dishes. Guest, perfect. I'll check them out. Thanks again. Receptionist, you're welcome. Enjoy your time exploring the city. Check out. Guest, good morning. I'm checking out of room 405. Receptionist, good morning, Mr. Smith. Let me just pull up your bill. Did you have anything from the minibar or use any additional services during your stay? Guest, yes, I had a bottle of water from the minibar. Receptionist, all right, I've added that to your bill. Your total comes to $450. Will you be using the same card for payment? Guest, yes, please. Receptionist, okay, your card has been charged. Here is a copy of your receipt. I hope you enjoyed your stay. Guest, I did, thank you. By the way, can I leave my luggage here for a few hours? Receptionist, certainly. We can store your luggage until you're ready to pick it up. Guest, great, thank you very much. Receptionist, you're welcome. Have a safe journey. This version offers a balanced level of detail for various scenarios during a hotel stay. Thank you for watching. In a quaint village nestled between towering mountains and dense woods, there lay a place known as the Whispering Forest. The villagers believed the forest was enchanted, for on moonlit nights, the trees seemed to whisper secrets to those who would listen. Among the villagers was a curious and brave young girl named Elara. She had grown up hearing tales of the forest from her grandmother, who claimed that the whispers were the voices of ancient spirits. Intrigued, Elara decided to uncover the truth. One evening, Elara ventured into the forest with a lantern and a few supplies. As she walked deeper into the woods, the usual sounds of wildlife faded, replaced by an eerie stillness. Eventually, she reached a clearing illuminated by moonlight, where an ancient oak tree stood, its leaves shimmering like silver. As she approached the tree, the whispers began. They told a story of Eldrin, a powerful druid, and Lyra, a beautiful maiden with an enchanting voice. Their love was forbidden by the druidic laws, but they continued to meet in secret under the ancient oak. When they were discovered, Lyra was banished, and Eldrin, in his despair, performed a ritual to bind their spirits to the forest so they could be together forever. Moved by their tale, Elara realized the whispers were a testament to their enduring love. She spent the night under the oak tree, feeling a deep connection to the spirits of Eldrin and Lyra. When she returned to the village, she shared their story, helping the villagers to see the forest not as a place of mystery and fear, but as a symbol of eternal love. Years later, an elderly druid named Arik arrived in the village. He spoke of a prophecy that foretold a guardian rising to protect the forest from a great darkness. He revealed that Elara was the chosen guardian and began to teach her the ancient ways of the druids. Under Arik's guidance, Elara learned to understand the forest and its whispers. She grew stronger and more attuned to its magic. One stormy night, she sensed a disturbance and knew the time had come to face the foretold darkness. Accompanied by Arik, Elara ventured into the heart of the forest. They reached the ancient oak tree, where a shadowy figure emerged, threatening to consume the forest's light. Drawing upon the love and strength of Eldrin and Lyra, Elara unleashed a brilliant light that banished the darkness. Exhausted but victorious, Elara realized her destiny as the guardian of the Whispering Forest. The villagers, now understanding the true nature of the forest, lived in harmony with it, embracing the whispers as a symbol of love and protection. Elara continued to protect the forest, her heart forever intertwined with the spirits of Eldrin and Lyra. The Whispering Forest remained a place of wonder, its whispers a timeless song of love that echoed through the ages.
Morning routine. Person A. Good morning. How did you sleep? Person B. Morning. I slept pretty well, thanks. How about you? Person A. Not too bad. Did you have any plans for today? Person B. I have a few things to do. I need to go grocery shopping and then stop by the post office. How about you? Person A. I'm just going to work. But first, I need my coffee. Want some breakfast? Person B. Sure, that sounds great. What do you have? Person A. I was thinking about making some scrambled eggs and toast. Person B. Perfect. I'll help you set the table. At work. Colleague A. Hey, did you finish the report for the meeting? Colleague B. Yes, I did. I emailed it to you last night. Did you get a chance to review it? Colleague A. Yes, I did. It looks good. We just need to add a bit more detail to the financial section. Colleague B. Okay, I'll work on that after lunch. By the way, do you want to grab a coffee later? Colleague A. That sounds great. I could use a break. Let's meet at 3 p.m. in the lobby. At the grocery store. Person A. Excuse me, can you tell me where I can find the baking supplies? Store employee. Sure, they're in aisle 5, right next to the spices. Person A. Thank you. Also, do you have any organic produce? Store employee. Yes, our organic section is over there, near the dairy products. Person A. Great, thanks for your help. At the post office. Person A. Hi, I need to send this package to New York. What are my shipping options? Post office clerk. You can choose between standard, express, and overnight shipping. Standard takes about 5 to 7 days, express is 2 to 3 days, and overnight is next day delivery. Person A. I'll go with express shipping. How much will that be? Post office clerk. That will be $15.50. Do you need any additional services, like insurance or tracking? Person A. Yes, please add tracking. Post office clerk. All set. Here's your receipt and tracking number. Have a great day. Person A. Thanks, you too. At home. Person A. Hey, I'm home. How was your day? Person B. Hey. My day was good. I got a lot done. How about yours? Person A. Pretty busy, but I got through it. Did you get everything done you needed to? Person B. Yes, I did. I even had time to go to the gym. What do you want for dinner? Person A. How about we order some pizza? Person B. Sounds perfect. I'll call and place the order. Evening relaxation. Person A. Do you want to watch a movie? Person B. Sure, what do you have in mind? Person A. I heard there's a new comedy on Netflix. How about that? Person B. Sounds good to me. I'll make some popcorn. Person A. Great. I'll get the drinks. Bedtime. Person A. I'm so tired. It's been a long day. Person B, me too. Ready to call it a night? Person A, definitely. Did you set the alarm for tomorrow? Person B, yes, it's set for 7 a.m. Person A, perfect. Good night. Person B, good night. Sleep well. Next morning. Person A, morning. Did you sleep well? Person B, morning. Yes, I did. Ready to start another day. Person A, yep, let's do it. These dialogues cover various everyday situations, including morning routines, workplace conversations, shopping, running errands, and winding down in the evening. They illustrate common phrases and interactions that are useful in daily life. Thanks for watching.
Emma's day. Emma wakes up at 6 a.m. to the gentle sound of her alarm clock. She takes a moment to stretch in bed, feeling the crisp morning air through her open window. She reaches for the glass of water on her nightstand, taking a few sips to start her day hydrated. By 6:05 a.m., Emma is in her living room, rolling out her yoga mat. She spends the next 20 minutes flowing through a series of yoga poses, focusing on her breath and the calm start to her day. After her yoga session, she heads to the kitchen to prepare breakfast. By 6:30 a.m., she's making a smoothie bowl topped with fresh berries, granola, and a drizzle of honey. As she eats, she listens to a podcast about personal development, absorbing inspiring stories and tips. At 7 a.m., Emma laces up her running shoes and heads out for a morning jog around her neighborhood. The cool, fresh air energizes her as she runs, listening to her favorite upbeat playlist. After 30 minutes, she returns home at 7:30 a.m., feeling invigorated. A quick shower follows, leaving her refreshed and ready to take on the day. By 8 a.m., Emma is at her desk, ready to start work. She has a full schedule today, so she begins by prioritizing her tasks. Using the Pomodoro technique, she works in focused intervals of 25 minutes, taking short 5-minute breaks to stretch and clear her mind. Around 10 a.m., she takes a mid-morning break, enjoying a handful of almonds and a short walk around her garden to soak up some sunshine. At 10:15 a.m., Emma dives back into work, dedicating time to a creative project she's passionate about. She's currently designing a new website, and the work excites her. The next couple of hours fly by as she gets lost in her creative flow. By noon, Emma feels satisfied with her progress and is ready for lunch. For lunch, Emma prepares a light and healthy salad with mixed greens, grilled chicken, avocado, and a tangy lemon dressing. She enjoys her meal on the patio from 12 p.m. to 12:30 p.m., basking in the midday sun. After eating, she takes a leisurely stroll around the block, saving the fresh air and the break from her computer screen, returning by 12:45 p.m. At 1 p.m., Emma returns to her desk for an hour of learning. She's enrolled in an online marketing course and enjoys the challenge of mastering new concepts. By 2 p.m., it's time to get back to work. She focuses on tasks that require deep concentration, ensuring she meets her deadlines. Around 3:30 p.m., Emma takes another break. She makes herself a cup of herbal tea and spends 15 minutes stretching and doing some light exercises to re-energize. Refreshed, she continues working until 5 p.m., wrapping up her tasks for the day. With work behind her, Emma transitions to her evening routine. At 5 p.m., she grabs her sketchbook and heads to a nearby park. Drawing and painting are her favorite ways to unwind, and she spends an hour capturing the beauty of nature around her. By 6 p.m., Emma is back home and ready for a physical activity she loves, a virtual dance class. She joins an online group and dances her heart out for the next hour, enjoying the fun and the endorphins that come with it. Dinner time arrives at 7 p.m., and Emma prepares a delicious stir-fry with tofu, vegetables, and a flavorful sauce. She sits down to eat with her roommate, sharing stories from their day and enjoying the meal together. After dinner, at 8 p.m., Emma spends some leisure time watching an episode of her favorite TV series. The show is a perfect way to relax and unwind. By 9 p.m., she shifts to reading, diving into a captivating novel she's been enjoying. As 9:30 p.m. approaches, Emma begins her wind-down routine. She takes a warm bath with lavender-scented bubbles, followed by her nightly skincare routine. Avoiding screens, she opts to write in her journal, reflecting on the day's events and noting down things she's grateful for and her plans for tomorrow. By 10 p.m., Emma is ready for bed. She puts on calming music and practices a few minutes of deep breathing exercises to help her relax. Finally, at 10:30 p.m., she turns off the lights, feeling content and ready for a restful night's sleep, recharging for another fulfilling day ahead. Using the above techniques with this story will help you practice reading, writing, speaking, and listening in English. If you want any video related to English, please comment. Thanks for watching.
Here's the story again. As you read it aloud, focus on clear pronunciation, natural pacing, and expression. The magical garden. In a small village surrounded by rolling hills and dense forests, there lived a curious girl named Emily. Emily loved nature and spent her days exploring the countryside. One day, while wandering through the forest, she stumbled upon a hidden path she had never seen before. Intrigued, she decided to follow it. The path led her to a high stone wall covered in ivy. In the middle of the wall was a rusty iron gate. Emily pushed it open and discovered a beautiful, hidden garden. Flowers of every color imaginable bloomed everywhere, and the air was filled with the sweet scent of roses and jasmine. As she walked through the garden, Emily noticed a sparkling pond with crystal-clear water. She knelt by the pond and saw her reflection. But to her amazement, her reflection smiled and waved at her. Startled, she stepped back, but her reflection spoke. "Hello, Emily. Welcome to the magical garden." "I am your guide," said the reflection. Emily was both excited and curious. "What makes this garden magical?" she asked. The reflection replied, "This garden can make your wishes come true. But remember, only selfless wishes will be granted." Emily thought about the things she could wish for. She decided to wish for something that would benefit her village. "I wish for our village to have a bountiful harvest every year so no one will go hungry," she said. A gentle breeze rustled the leaves, and the flowers seemed to nod in agreement. "Your wish is granted," said the reflection. "You have shown kindness and thoughtfulness." Emily felt a sense of joy and fulfillment. She continued exploring the garden and came across a large oak tree with a door at its base. She opened the door and found a cozy little room inside. Shelves lined the walls, filled with books, jars of herbs, and mysterious artifacts. In the center of the room was a table with a large, ancient book. Emily opened the book and saw that it was filled with stories and secrets of the magical garden. She read about the enchanted creatures that lived there, the spells that could be cast, and the adventures of those who had visited before her. She spent hours reading and learning. As the sun began to set, Emily realized it was time to leave. She closed the book and stepped out of the tree. As she walked back to the gate, she felt a warm glow in her heart, knowing that her wish would bring happiness to her village. When Emily returned home, she told her family about the garden and her wish. At first, they were skeptical, but as the seasons passed, they noticed that their crops were more plentiful than ever before. The villagers never went hungry again, and they celebrated with a grand feast every harvest. Emily continued to visit the magical garden, each time making a wish that would help others. She wished for clean water, better schools, and good health for the villagers. Each wish was granted, and the village prospered. Word of the magical garden spread, and people from far and wide came to visit Emily, seeking her guidance and wisdom. She became known as the kind-hearted guardian of the magical garden, and her village thrived under her care. And so, Emily and the magical garden became legends, reminding everyone that true magic lies in selflessness and kindness. Take your time reading each sentence, and don't hesitate to repeat any part it's necessary to improve your fluency and pronunciation. Thank you for watching.
Scene: a lively restaurant. A customer, Sarah, enters and approaches the host. Host, good evening. Welcome to the gourmet garden. How many in your party? Sarah, good evening. Just one tonight. Host, great. Right this way, please. Sarah follows the host to a table. Host, here you go. Your server will be with you shortly. Enjoy your meal. Sarah, thank you. A few moments later, the server, Jack, arrives. Jack, good evening. I'm Jack, and I'll be your server tonight. Can I start you off with something to drink? Sarah, yes, please. I'll have a glass of sparkling water and maybe a recommendation for a cocktail? Jack, certainly. Our signature cocktail, the Sunset Breeze, is very popular. It's a mix of fresh citrus juices and a hint of mint. Sarah, that sounds delightful. I'll have that, please. Jack, excellent choice. I'll be right back with your drinks. Jack leaves and returns shortly with the drinks. Here is your sparkling water and the Sunset Breeze. Are you ready to order, or do you need a few more minutes? Sarah, I'm ready to order. Could you tell me more about the chef's special tonight? Jack, absolutely. The chef's special is a pan-seared duck breast with a cherry glaze, served with truffle mashed potatoes and sautéed asparagus. Sarah, that sounds amazing. I'll have the chef's special, please. Jack, wonderful choice. Would you like to start with an appetizer or a soup? Sarah, yes, I'll have the French onion soup to start. Jack, perfect. I'll get that started for you right away. Enjoy your cocktail. Jack leaves and returns with the soup a few minutes later. Jack, here's your French onion soup. Enjoy. Sarah, thank you. This looks fantastic. A few minutes later, after Sarah finishes her soup, Jack returns with the main course. Jack, here we are. One pan-seared duck breast with cherry glaze. Can I get you anything else right now? Sarah, no, this looks perfect. Thank you. Jack, enjoy your meal. Sarah starts eating her meal. After some time, Jack checks back in. Jack, how is everything tasting? Sarah, it's incredible. The flavors are just perfect. Jack, I'm glad to hear that. Would you like to see the dessert menu or perhaps a coffee to finish your meal? Sarah, yes, please. I'd love to see the dessert menu. Jack hands Sarah the dessert menu, and she takes a moment to look it over. Sarah, I think I'll have the raspberry cheesecake and a cappuccino, please. Jack, excellent choice. I'll be right back with your dessert and coffee. Jack leaves and returns shortly with the dessert and coffee. Jack, here is your raspberry cheesecake and cappuccino. Enjoy. Sarah, thank you. This looks wonderful. Sarah enjoys her dessert and coffee. After she finishes, Jack returns to the table. Jack, how was everything? Sarah, everything was absolutely perfect. Please pass my compliments to the chef and the entire team. This was one of the best dining experiences I've ever had. Jack, thank you so much. We are thrilled to hear that. Your kind words mean a lot to us. Sarah, no, really. You all deserve the highest praise. You've made my evening special. Jack, we are honored to have made your evening memorable. Thank you so much for your appreciation. Can I get you anything else, or are you ready for the check? Sarah, I'm ready for the check, please. Jack, certainly. I'll be right back with that. Jack leaves and returns with the check. Jack, here you go. Whenever you're ready. Sarah, thank you. Sarah reviews the check and places her payment inside. Jack returns to collect it. Jack, thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening. Sarah, thank you. You too. Sarah leaves the restaurant, satisfied with her dining experience. Thank you for watching.